I'm just imagining Patrick sitting like Bob Ross painting right now.
I totally forgot to put the screen on. Hey, everybody.
What up? What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 182. I am your host, Anthony Trapani. Got one resident homie with me. Gonna have the full crew soon, but I got Casey Howard with me. What up, dude?
Hello.
Got the bananas in the background already. And tonight we are joined by a very special guest, a guy I've wanted on here for a while, and we finally hit him up to get him on here, and he was enthusiastic to come on, and I'm very stoked on it. We got Patrick Loisel from Augury. What's going on, Patrick?
I'm very fine. Like finishing, I'm a teacher, high school history teacher, and I'm finishing the school year. So it's a lot of rush and stuff like this, and I have to correct tons of exams.
When is the final day of school for you?
Yeah, final days of school. Well, they're gonna start the exams in mid-June, and we have tons to correct them. Then we have to make the report card, and I do my final day about June 27. And I'm back
age?
like August. My age, the age I have are between 15 and 20 years old. It's like secondary 4 and 5, which correspond in English system 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11, I think. And I have a lot of older people because most come from war zones, and they missed times at school because they were in camps and stuff like that. We really got, when something goes bad in the world, I know my clients 2-3 years later, because we have another bunch of teachers who will get them straight out of the plane, and then I get them 2 years later when they master the language and they are able to communicate with us, and most of them are very plain adorable. And so I got a lot of news from there because, I write a lot about news and history and sociology. So a lot come from people who just been there. So when people tell me, you're making stuff up, just tell them.
Is it so is that what the school you teach at, is that mainly what it is kids?
We're really dedicated to refugees and immigrants and stuff, and it's easier to count the countries in the world where I don't have any friends.
Yeah,
because so family, and it's like I know adorable people absolutely everywhere. And they tell me it's all the same process occur a bit in places that don't communicate, that cannot influence each other. It's it's from human instinct,
right?
Like I told you a bit in history, we had repeating cycles. Like in 1925, you had in Berlin, you had 90 big gay clubs. You had lots of women teaching university, and trans people, and people with green hair, and people with their pet lizards, and all the oddities that you see today, and that people whine that in the old days we didn't have that. And what happened is that some big wigs said, "I want to bring back society to traditions, and we're going to put a strong man in power to clean that up." And normally the strong man leads them a bit further into war. Secondly, absolutely everywhere countercultures thrived, dictatorship came. You should read about the hippie culture in Chile before 1973. The hippie culture in Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan before 1979. You drove in Kabul in 1977, you open your radio and it's Kiss and Black Sabbath playing.
Right.
So what happened is that when their own young started to indulge in that culture, they said, "Hey, Taliban, come and clean that up." And when they can't achieve that, what they do, which is very frequent, is that they call the dictator from a neighboring country into helping. Like Franco was put in power by Adolf and Mussolini, and not by himself. It was very unpopular in Spain. And so in France was a nice case, because where when everybody turned right wing in the 30s, in the early 30s, they shifted the Weimar Republic to like Third Reich almost. France kept voting left and having very progressive politics up until like the late 30s. They kept, and so the far right just called the neighbor and said, "Can you help us clean a bit?" So I had reports about like 5,000 French women being rounded up and surrendered to that camp. But when they were rounded up, the Germans were not in France yet. They were still fighting. And when the German came, they said the job was already done by the local thugs. So they rounded up women because they were childless, and because they decided that, okay, feminists has to go, a woman is a baby-making machine, and stop this. And you should see the propaganda. I had that at school because their books, the school I attended when I was a teen, was attended by refugees from the Vichy regime in France in the 19 up to 1945.
So, do you think it's that just counterculture is a threatening thing to these regimes you're talking about?
Yeah, totally. Counterculture have been the object of a report by CIA and FBI about like filling the social divides, filling the racial divides. So yeah, the one thing that trigger old people is to see young people mingle with foreigners. So like in France in the 1870s, you had the mental disease that was called Japonisme. It was young French people, Westerners, dressing like Japanese people. So it angered old people in France, and they were angered because people would make their home look like a minaret instead of a normal French design. And you know what's funny? Back in Japan, young Japanese started to dress like Western people, and old Japanese people were like, "Ah, our society goes to decadence." So every phenomenon that have a conservative cringe today were there in about every 30 years. You see them. Okay, we need to clean up.
I came up with my own theory too, that I think that 30 years is kind of the thing where we all just, like we were talking, look back on things, because we're having this 90s, nostalgic thing happening now. And the 50s was happening in the 80s, and
the 60s were nostalgic in the 90s.
I was about to tell you, man, I was an aspirant metal musician during the Satanic Panic. 1985, I got my guitar confiscated and sold because your son's going to be a Satan worshiper and stuff. I had flyers put in my mailbox, man. I had people knocking my door and yelling at my parents for buying me an electric guitar. So 95 to 2015, everything is fine. You can have long hair, swing your hair, and play that metal. Now I start reading people back. Oh, people are angry because my dad gave me an electric guitar. They said I'm going to go to hell. I'm starting to read it's like 1984 again. It's like, you understand what I mean?
It's wild, dude.
It's like, you're old enough to have known VHS. They rewinded and push play again.
Yep.
That's what, from my perspective, it's like, okay, so I'm going to go to sleep another 15 years and it's going to be cool again because I'm
what if that was true?
I heard
that was true. You like went to hell for having an electric guitar. Like you actually went.
Yeah.
I just turned 54. When I grew up as a child, I heard all the orgy stuff that adults were talking about. Hey, it's going to be fun. I'm a teenager during the fucking 80s. It's baby making only.
Okay. Yeah, only, dude. And you guys had the AIDS problem. You guys dealt with.
Yeah, totally. But you have different things in the 30s when they did the very exact shift. Or they had a smaller occurrence from like 45 until like 53, like the beatniks. And then the 50s came like Daddy Knows Best. So you had the same, and they're all after the very same targets: foreign cultures, feminists, gays, and ecology from time to time. And in history, there are other occurrences, but they are further apart. In the industrial era, it's irregular.
You got me thinking. You got me thinking a lot of things right now. No, it's okay. Before we do that, let's get the plugs out of the way before we keep rolling, because this is all really interesting stuff. We got battleforgecoffee.com up top. Our homies in Deeds of Flesh, our death metal dads, our death metal brothers. They're all involved in this company, or they're all involved in that band. A few of them are involved in this company, and we backed this company since they started, and it's not just because they're our friends. We've sampled the product plenty of times. I like to wear their their t-shirt. It's all great stuff, guys. Go over there and support underground death metal. Pulling their boots, tying up their bootstraps and starting their own business. And dude, Severed Savior is back. Yes, that is correct. Is that one of the? Oh no, you just had that one lined up. Yeah, Severed's back, guys. We're gonna be playing Texas Domination Fest. I know I never plugged that up top. Joseph's usually the one who's plugging shows and stuff, but I get to plug a show in September, guys. I'm gonna be headlining the third day of Texas Domination Fest, and I'm really excited about it. Those songs are really fun to play live. You guys in the crowd go sick when we play them, so I can't wait to do it again. GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com, Oceanside, California. We all know you guys need places to play because our abrasive, loud music isn't really accepted by neighbors or family members much. So go rent a place to get as loud as you want at GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com in Oceanside, California. CaliDeathPodcast.BigCartel.com. Got a couple t-shirts for you guys. I keep seeing clips and reels and people playing on stage wearing them and shit. And we just got a video this week from Riff Wizard playing with our shirt on in Switzerland. It was super sick to see that. Yeah, and also we'll throw you on our stories if you take a picture wearing our shit. Twitch.tv.CaliDeathPodcast. What is it? Twitch.tv.
Sorry, I think someone changed these to a little scrolling moniker. They used to be one was like a popped up. There you go.
Twitch.tv/CaliDeathPodcast is where you can go see it live, as well as our YouTube page. And I think that's just /CaliDeathPodcast as well. Okay, is that it for the plugs for us? What about you, Pat? Where do you want people to go for everything you and Augury related?
Yeah, well, we've started to record the fourth Augury album, but we already stopped because Matt keeps buying new gear and says, "Oh, it sounds better, so we have to redo the whole thing." Then we're done. Then one of them, "Oh, I have a new song," and then we got bring in fire moving and everything, and so we're delayed, and we're very busy. In the meantime, I simply one day I bought Reaper and I just whistled in the microphone and I said it sounds cool with lots of delays. So I had some keyboards, classical instruments. I should record drums underneath, and then guitars, and then vocals and bass. And I just made a solo album. Like it came naturally. It's like automatic writing. I listened to it. I did that. It's my project is called Merfolk. And I did one 5-song album called The Mersold, where I did absolutely everything. And that includes building the studio, building the guitar, because I'm a luthier. And also I did 2 video clips. Like I built puppets in my garage and paint them glow in the dark and try to look as spooky as possible with a very low budget. I think the whole thing cost like $600, including buying the studio. So, and then I read on Facebook, people complain, "Oh, I did 15 grand and I live for 49 views." And yeah, but I have a problem, and that's why I address my project here, because I think you interviewed me more for Augury, is because something very weird happened. I put my project on Bandcamp on September 3rd, 2022, and within the hour, my Facebook account was banned. I stayed banned for 3 months, and since then, whenever I put my musical products onto a Facebook group, like some group in Indonesia of 90,000 people, I have 7 listens and 3 likes by my friend next door here. So that means that people who are not already my Facebook friends very struggle to look my musical products. Yeah. So it's like. And people told me, because they tend to block artists who are involved politically, by your shadow ban. And
Yep, slaves to the algorithm, dude.
Yeah, and I feel back in the 80s again, when the only way to have your music heard had to add A&R people like your band and sign you and give you advance and stuff. It's like I struggle to be heard there. I say, yeah, internet, everybody's going to listen to my music. No.
Yeah.
Facebook's the worst.
Facebook is the worst. We get the least amount of traffic on Facebook too, probably because of whatever.
Because Well, I don't know the other platforms. I don't have much time. You know, people read me and say, "Oh, you must spend 6 hours on Facebook." I go, "Okay, next." I spend more time felling trees and building stuff on my yard. You know,
That's what's up.
yeah,
It's
Instagram is like
way more important time, anyways.
yeah,
Instagram's better, but obviously it's owned by Facebook, so
yeah.
fucking Meta. It's so dumb, dude. I hate everything about their
My co-star wanted
settings.
to
Oh,
appear.
I love it.
I used to have 3 cats. One died. Now I have 2. I
Oh,
also want to. I used to have snakes. I have like 50 tarantulas. I have a bird eater like
what?
this. Yeah, I'm a
50
tarantula.
tarantulas?
I was at one point. I was going to talk to you about the tarantulas because
Yeah,
before
not everybody knows.
we got a pink-toed tarantula for my son, and
they're
yeah,
cute.
we've actually had her for 4 years now, and
That's a
she's just
female. It's still alive. It's a female. And
yeah.
you put a fly in there, and you have Jackie Chan in a jar.
Yeah, dude, it is crazy.
And
When
they can eat once a month. Like
yeah,
the
it is
lowest
kind of
lowest
crazy.
breeders ever.
We'll offer food, and it's just whenever she wants to eat.
A bit of push of water every other day to have a bit of moisture. Don't let it dry. Especially pink toes avicularia, the younger ones are extremely fragile.
Mhm.
You always buy a few of them because they will die. You know.
I got some good footage of it taking its prey one time, and it jumped across
It goes
slow,
right.
and then just pow. It was
Yeah,
instant,
totally.
dude.
And I don't want that, like being overflown by a bug and doing a backflip this way.
That's pretty awesome, dude.
Carry on, completing the backflip and land on the vertical surface in the back of her and flawless. You had the judges with 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, like the Olympics.
Dude, I don't mean to take it from tarantulas to killer whales right now. That's a
Yeah,
random ass jump, but it just made me think of a video that I saw this week.
yeah.
I had no idea orcas play with their food. They'll
They play with
just
their food, and you know that they've started attacking boats now at some place. It's due to the fact that their prey are rebounding, and since they don't spend much time chasing prey, they have lots of spare time that they try to they try to make hobbies. It's like I wouldn't play heavy metal if I would have to hunt all day to feed myself and my family. You know.
yeah.
Yeah, so they can't play heavy metal, so they sink boats.
They'll jack us. Yeah, they'll jack a seal or a sea lion or something, and then just swim by it and kick it into the air like 80
Yeah.
feet and just
Oh,
watch
yeah,
it
yeah,
fly.
yeah. I saw
And
everything.
there's like a crowd of birds, and I'm like, I wonder if they're trying to knock a bird out, because I've seen footage. I've seen footage of a killer whale actually putting out bait for a
Yeah,
bird to get there, and then
cats do it.
it goes
Some
for the
cats do it.
fish and immediately jacks the bird. So I'm like, I wonder if it's using the seal to make a meal of a
Yeah,
seal and a bird together.
it might be, but you know, in Florida, alligator put a straw on their head, like to attract birds, because they seek like nestling material, and the alligator goes.
Dude, things are a lot smarter than we think they are, guys.
Uh,
Just because
the
we
large
eat them,
reptile are smart.
I'm not, I don't think I'm gonna eat octopus anymore, guys, either. When I go to
No,
a sushi place, I don't know if I want to. They're too fucking intelligent.
and you know what? They're limited by the fact that they live only 3 years, and when they are born, their parents are dead, so there are no knowledge transmission ever. They did artificially. They like took different age octopus and an older one do like unscrew something. The young ones start and show it to another one. Then they show the national trick, and the final one knew like a lot of skills. But in the
Yeah.
end, it doesn't happen because they're born and they have to start from scratch all over all the time. If they live like 30 years and knew their grandparents, we would have a dictionary for English octopus, you know.
Yeah, that is very interesting. I didn't realize that they only have a 3-year lifespan.
Most of them, like 5 for the giant squid, or 1
Wow.
for a few of them. There's a chameleon that lives like 4 months in Madagascar.
Whoa.
It spends like 9 months in the egg, 4 months outside of the egg.
That's a trip.
What a life!
I know. What is that for? Like, if you think about how everything works, like, is that just made for food for another animal?
Might be.
It's,
Some
you know,
frogs like they make like blunt eggs as food for their babies.
wow.
Yeah.
starting as cannibals right away, huh?
Oh, I think the most against nature thing I saw is the Hippomis beetle. It's a beetle that looks like beetles that frogs normally eat, so it allows itself to be eaten by a frog, but eat it from inside. So
Whoa.
it preys on the frog by luring frog into eating it.
It's like once I'm in there, they just eat its way out and then
Oh
go to the
yeah,
next
no,
frog, dude.
Laura prefers the skin. So
Yeah, because a frog's not really gonna break an exoskeleton. They don't have any teeth or like jaw
yeah,
power, so they just
well,
swallow it
they do have.
whole.
Some do have teeth. I've been fishing and I had a frog like puncture my lure, and
Really?
yeah, some have teeth.
Trip.
Yeah.
Where do you want people to go to buy Augury merch?
Oh, but we do have like a BAM. We have
Oh.
something. I don't even know myself. I'll tell myself, and I'll just search. I know Matt have some merch. We have some merch. We'll have some merch made because we'll resume playing live. So I'm dialing Augury merch. Augury merch.
You guys just played recently, right?
No, I haven't played in over 2 years.
Oh, maybe I saw that was
What the
it was
music? I'll send you the link later. But we have a place. I'll try to tell them to like our English people, because in Quebec, like 80% of people are French. But the problem is that Canada has been surrendered to England after war by France, and so they said we're gonna make the place English, want it or not. So we kind of struggle a lot of time to keep the culture. It's a bit like Catalonia in Spain. There's actually the same percentage of the population and everything. So, what did you ask again? I'm sorry, I was going.
I gave you two questions at once, and now I'm
Okay.
making it confusing. First, where do you want people to go if they want to
Oh,
purchase
the merch is
merch?
La Boîte à Musique. It's French for musical box. Yeah, okay, and I'll type you the link a bit later. Second question.
The second one was, and I just got confused because you just recently posted some live footage then, and I may have
Oh,
mixed it up
it's
with-
old stuff. It's old stuff that from a long ago, because we haven't played since 2022. I took a break from playing live because of I had health issues. I got cleared for colon cancer. I got treated for glaucoma, and I got the melanoma taken off, and it was very bleak for a period of time. I also had like lots of people dying around me,
Yeah.
my father-in-law, a few friends who were younger than me died. I'm 54, so I have to take better care of myself. Until recently, I weighed 260 pounds.
Wow.
So I go to yeah,
Mhm.
I grew up on pasta and processed meat, so I have a lot to come back to.
Make up for, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but you said you got cleared for the colon cancer, right?
Yeah.
You're good.
I had the colonoscopy stuff. Yeah, it's gore stuff, and I'm the one who spotted. Hey, you see that stuff that looks like a raisin over there? Oh, you had one left. Okay, and that's it. And
That's good.
I'm supposed to be okay and
So you
fine.
caught it early.
With
That's
chemo,
good.
I spared the chemo, and I didn't make it there. I didn't go to that stage, so I'm very happy with
Well, that's good.
Great, man.
with my diet and stuff. I expected to have grapes in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that now, how is the diet?
Oh, I eat less, and I try to eat more vegetables simply, and less.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because
I
actually,
move more. I move much more. I never took an elevator in years.
colon cancer is the numbers are going up. I think,
Yeah,
especially in
feeling.
young kids too.
And then one last thing I got clear for, but not clear, but under control, is I suffer from severe arthrosis, but from birth. I was 26, and I had about I struggled walking, and I have my hip joint popping out sometimes, and my when you have a stiff
Mhm.
neck, well, sometimes I have stiff everything. So
Yeah.
and
What'd you say? What's the ailment? What's it called?
arthrosis,
Arthrosis.
degenerative arthrosis, birth, and I had lots of problems when I was touring because it was horrible, like the conditions and all the worries and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm not made to be a road warrior. I enjoy playing live, but I would teleport myself.
Yeah, I know. There's definitely a big part of me that doesn't miss the touring aspect of it, but I do love playing live, and I do love,
I
recording
I
and
think I toured with Kesey. in the past.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember you. Nice. And
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure if I told with you, but the other guys who come, I saw names that are familiar.
No,
yeah. I
you've
don't think
actually
Odious never played with Augury.
so
No.
me and Casey are in Odious Mortem together, but you toured with Decrepit Birth, I'm sure.
Decrepit
Yeah,
Birth.
it was
You want
the
Decrepit Birth?
Vader tour with the Amenta,
Yeah.
and it
Yes, I
was
remember that.
it was late or yeah, it was like late 2009,
Yeah,
like
exactly. It was my very
November.
first tour, and 5 months away from my 14th birthday. It's like a late bloomer, and I hear people like, "I'm 24. I didn't do this, then that. My life is
Yeah.
over." Yeah.
Oh, Warbringer was the other band. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Mm.
I remember
Yeah.
that in Warbringer, one of the guitar player took over for the drummer at some shows.
Oh shit.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was great. Yeah,
The show must go
Yeah.
on.
yeah. I played under and it's like being in the army. It's like being a traveling hobo because I
Yeah.
remember we were in a place, no restaurant, no nothing, no daily
Yeah.
trade.
I know, right? Especially in America,
Yeah,
because
so what do we do? Eat grass,
yeah,
Yeah.
You catch a
no.
you catch a seagull and go.
Catch a
Yeah.
seagull like a orc, dude. Orca.
Yeah, I saw them like swim underneath the ice float and just break it to have the seal
I
fill the
I
water.
heard the old story of Charlie Parker Bird. I don't know if this is true, but
Let's hear
someone
it.
told me that the reason they call him Bird because like he was on tour. They're on tour like in the 40s or something. Like I
Right.
don't even know if it was post World War II, but they were doing all that shit, and they're in some vehicle and pulled over, and he's like, and he grabbed like this bird, like it was like roadkill or like some dead bird and pull it in, and then he's like, I'm gonna cook this for dinner or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if that's
yeah.
true. I'd seen
Uh,
it years ago.
Sadly, might be because there are
Yeah.
places like. Have you ever watched Duck Dynasty?
Yeah.
I've
Not
The
really in a
squirrel.
while, but yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
eat squirrel, and I've read somewhere else that in that culture, sometimes they eat roadkill, and
Yeah.
they make jokes about it, like a recipe for roadkill recipe.
Roadkill Cafe,
That's
dude.
really awesome.
they kind of they soften the fact that they're eating something that's been killed by a car.
Well,
But
but, you know what? Sad truth here. It's a very recent thing that we eat not rotten meat. Because
yeah.
fridge are a recent invention,
Interesting.
and we do have summers. And if you like to put ketchup, mustard, or any other condiment on your meat, their first duty was to hide the taste of rot.
Yeah.
That's why they started.
Whoa, I
Well,
didn't know
why
that.
all those spices back then? It's not because they were fancy. It was because their food was rotten.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I mean, we used to go to war over salt because that was our way to preserve the meat as
yeah.
much as we could.
In Rome, it was a salary. Actually, salary comes from the Latin word salar.
That's right. I've heard that before. Salt. Yeah. What the
I,
hell?
Rip, dude.
I don't know why I do. I have a glare. My lamp is very low, so I'm turning this way.
You can tell I'm terrible at lighting too. I don't know where to put
Yeah.
lights. It's
I'm mobile.
we're here, we're hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, man, there's just so many things we've opened up.
Oh yeah, I
but
was going to
feel
say
like-
about like touring, and you brought up all that stuff, and
I worked in so many stuff. Like I used to build. I don't know if you know what is an ionocraft. It's flying machines with no moving part that create a field above, and it goes up to join this field. So it's flying machine ionocraft. You can try to search it. I used to build them. I use old TVs and old computers because you need to generate like 25,000 volts, and so I made like a design that's called lifter. It's like the little triangles made of tin foil, and it's kind of electrodes to generate like not anti-gravity. It's actually there's a flow of air in those. But
Right.
the fact is that when you turn the light off, you have the very same glow that on many UFO sightings. And also
Really?
when I flew my machines, some people with dentures had pains, and there were like interference in TVs set in the homes all around. So I assume that some UFOs are actually electricity driven.
That was actually another thing that I knew we were gonna get into because I've been a voyeur of your posts for quite some time, and yeah, I definitely wanted to get into the alien stuff too.
Yeah.
But before we do, I want to get to know you. So I want to go back to the childhood. I want to know what it was like being Patrick as a little kid.
Oh
And
my God, you don't want it. Well, I don't know
yeah, come
the
on.
drama, but well, I was born Laurent Chrétien in May 26, 1970. I was adopted at age 2 weeks. And it's funny because my natural family is related to Jean Chrétien, the old Canadian Prime Minister with the crooked mouth. I
Mm.
spent my life laughing about him, and I had some of his blood to me. So I got adopted and grew up in the town of Quebec. That's It's a funny story because my parents hail from the very eastern part of Quebec. The Gaspé Peninsula. But that place is uber conservative, and my mom was very too good at school, didn't want kids and stuff. So they were a bit like chased, and they moved all the other way, almost to the Ontario border, in the place called Valleyfield. And then later they decided to have kids, but she couldn't have. My mom is barren, so I got adopted, and then she adopted an older sister as well. So there I go. I grew up in the 70s, and I was very much darker before. I have old pictures of me. People think it's an Arab or a Latino, and
Mm.
but because of some health problems I had, age 21, I kind of lost my color, and
Mm.
I still have a bit in my eyes, but I look like a Chinese baby on on my baby picture. So I was exposed to some races because my mom was a teacher. Educated people were very nice to me, and the both peoples were very nice to me as well. But in the back streets, when you had the jobber people and stuff, I got the stone thrown at me. I got spat in my face. I got told, "Go back home." I'm home. I was born in Montreal, but what I didn't know is that I'm native actually. So not completely. I'm like deluded, but it's more apparent that most of the people where I live. And what happened is that in the early 70s, it was not long after the clergy spent 100 years driving us against the natives, because we Quebecers were New France before, and I wish I could have maps appear, because New France was like half of North America at some point, and they were very friendly with the natives, unlike other colonists who tried to eliminate them or enslave them. And what happened is that we mingled with the native. They had a far more liberal social system than France, the monarchy and stuff. Natives were like, you don't have hierarchy. Women, a lot of us society were matriarchal, two spirits, and everybody has a spirit, and it was very hippie actually. So the
Mm.
clergy, when the English took over, the clergy took benefit of it to split us apart from the natives. So they put a lot of ugly stuff in in our heads, like they are cannibals and they were monsters. And so when you look like one of them, even without knowing it, you have a bit of target on you.
Yeah.
But then what happened? What saved me in that the 80s were horrible for me. When you want to be an aspirant metal musician in the 80s, it's like being aspirant metal musician in Saudi Arabia. And
What was the first type of music you were listening to?
yeah, just to tell me, there was a wave of a trend. There was a fad of sun tanning. So everybody wanted to be dark, and they were like, "Oh, Pat, your tan is so cute. Where did you go? Oh, it's natural." And then it became cool. And
Mhm.
okay, I can switch to the other topic.
All right. I was just gonna say, what's like the first music you connected with? Was it some of the music your parents were listening to, or did you
We
find
don't
something on
listen
your
much to
own?
music. I'm the absolutely only musician in my whole extended family, and some of them are very like music Satan. And
Yeah.
now the first music I really dug was Quebec folk music, because a lot of Quebec folk music is very progressive and had like a weird keyboard part that sounds a bit like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and a lot
Oh.
of stuff that I loved. I love then. I was a big, huge fan of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but I heard the song on the radio. I didn't understand English back then, and I said, "Oh, it's
Mhm.
great, it's great!" Bam, 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 all the keyboard parts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then last year, Antoine did his Emerson, Lake and Palmer like a one man tribute, and I was like, "That's that song." Yeah, yeah.
Right.
There's a song. There's a folk song called Les Montréalais, Montrealers in French, and it has a lot of weird keyboard, but it goes with you the la 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 da, 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 and the song Maritime was inspired by Quebec folk, which is actually a bit inspired by Irish folk, because when we got surrendered to England, England tried to import a lot of poor English people here to try to outnumber us and lower our proportion of the population. Problem
Mm.
is that the Irish prefer to integrate into us than into the English. So they help maintain our numbers, actually. Okay. Excuse me, my cat is trying stuff.
That's all right.
Bye. She's adorable.
We've actually had 2 cat fights on the show as well, in the
Oh, yeah.
past. Yeah, we've had 2 separate episodes where cats were gonna fight, and one was right next to Casey's head at
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Gilbert's house.
I had an alarm ring. I have to put like medication in my eyes, but it can wait. I'll go later.
Oh, okay.
We've
So
had
that's
more than
crazy.
2 cat fights, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, well, then there was also the one with Travis from Cattle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I toured with him. I had a lot of story, but like the guy was uninjured. I don't know if I can tell this because I don't want like to model him or mother him or stuff. But what I was walking to him, blah 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 blah. Oh, I need to take a crap. So he just went against the wall and go and go blah 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 blah. Blah. And I was really extremely prude on those matters. So I was like.
You're talking about traveling hobo. That's pretty much on par with the traveling hobo.
No, I'm too homebound boy a bit.
Yeah. So that's crazy that they were doing that. They were shipping in. They were trying to change the population and outnumber you
Yeah,
guys.
well, they do everywhere. It's not only us. You know,
Yeah.
because I deal with immigrants, and it's been done everywhere. You know, there's something that you call gerrymandering. It's by you kind of modify the electoral divisions to
Mhm.
make people in minority into an area, even if they're the majority. So, like you have them surrounded by other areas, and each one of them dance into their territory. So those become a minority in that dance and
Mhm.
there are less of them into their main territory. Another form of gerrymandering is moving people around. China does a lot of it. So, for example, China has a minority that called the Uyghur, which are Muslim Chinese people, which they seek like to culturally eliminate. What they do is that they move Han people, the mainstream Chinese, into Uyghur territory, and they encourage Uyghur people to move elsewhere in China where they are a minority, but they are becoming a minority at home as well. And then what they do is that they bus Uyghur teen people into a rave and they force them to dance. Because they said that forcing them to dance and to dress up will like wash off their old undesirable culture, and that's exactly what they did in the 80s to wash away EP culture. We've been forced to dance music and disco back then. No, cut your hair and dress up and dance. You know, it was like that.
Yeah.
And it
Wild.
was coming back in some areas. I had a guy lament, club that's closed. The demise of clubbing is like a catastrophe because what happens is that clubbing, he says, it's a fixed social stratas, and people who don't club has more tendency to hang with poorer or richer people instead of sticking solely to their own social class.
Mm.
So
I guess I need to go do more
fascist
clubbing,
people
dude.
fascist people look for two things: cultural uniformity, but stratification.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it's just organization in a way.
yeah,
Well, let's take it back to music a little bit with the
yeah.
Irish folk coming. So the Irish folk followed who over to Canada?
Irish were brought here by the English because the British, what they did is like they virtually, first the British used their colony as like to get rid of undesirable people. So they sent all violent criminals to Australia.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
most white people in Australia are supposedly a descendant of a criminal, and there's some others like to remote place like Tristan da Cunha, like two island, some miles shy of Antarctica, and they sent some other here. And what happened is that they sent the religious fanatic in America, like all a lot of British sects were
Hmm.
sent into America in the colony, and then those settled there, Baptists, evangelists, and stuff, and they start criticizing England for being too liberal because England had a revolution 1689. It became a parliamentary monarchy, so you could vote and oppose the king, which was a Satan for them. The king is
Yeah.
the voice of God. So they start protests against England, which helped independence of America indirectly, but they oppose the independence of America because America is going to be Republican, no God ordained king anymore. So they all moved to the nearest country that was still under a monarchy, meaning Canada. So most English Canadians that we have are actually former American religious fanatics. So they come here. They didn't want to live with us frogs. So they beg England to say, hey, "Can you spare us those people?" So they just cut our territory in half and gave them the western part. That part is now called Ontario.
Trip.
Yeah.
Um,
I will stop because I could go for another hour.
I know, I know. I'm just
Hey,
like, you're actually posing a challenge for me as the host because there's so many things that you're talking about that there's several questions that rise, but there's also, with the
yeah,
people
go
who
with your
watch.
plan,
Yeah,
and you
well,
can stop
there
me if
is
I'm.
no real plan, but basically, I love talking about this stuff, and I
Mhm.
love hearing
You
you
asked me
talk
about
about
my
this
life.
stuff.
I was in my childhood. I said I was adopted. I did my elementary school in the school my mom worked. So she was like the de facto assistant principal. So I had to behave a lot.
Hmm.
The good side is that I was spared any bullying. Problem is that she sent me into like a residential, resident school where I was with a dormitory, and then I became the universal punching bag. I got beaten severely. I went into the
Yeesh.
hospital. I
Fuck.
needed the prosthetic into my mouth in 1983. In 1983, it was a backlash against peace and love. I was still very peace and love in 1983, and all those
Hmm.
snub yuppie people were like, "No, you would have been you." You know,
Trip.
you know what they did? They took garbage bins and would litter. They would start their dad's car and let it run. You know, the today's equivalent of rolling coal. You know what they do? There are people who deliberately pollute to like to teach a lesson to ecologists. I got all of it in 1983.
Wow.
You know, and
Th-
most rolling colors weren't even born back then, but they did the very same thing. They mistreated animals, everything to piss off an ecologist or a EP or a pacifist. They did. You know, they indulged into rampant consumerism just to prove that they were not EP. If you had an uncle who did Woodstock, believe me, it was no longer a glory to talk about it.
So that was like you said you were in a dormitory. So what was the range of age that you're
I
in?
was the youngest. I skipped a year in elementary school, so I was the youngest person there at like about 11 years old, and some of them were like almost 18. So I was like the small little shrimp among. I was like a poodle among huskies,
Wow.
literally.
And you
Then,
were just
of course, it's 40 years ago, and I still wake up angry. So
really.
yeah. So when I see people celebrate bullying, it makes people normal. Yeah, like me. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I know. I don't take that stance at all. I mean, I understand facing adversity is a lesson that you can learn in life, but I don't think that we need adverse situations
Yeah.
either,
Well,
to grow. We can grow
civilization.
without having to be hazed or, physically, injured from some bullying situation. It kind of teaches a weird social hierarchy that doesn't need, it's unnecessary.
That's the point. Because, like, if you talk about Sparta or the Nazis or anything of that sort, they celebrated bullying, and people wrote that they saw bullying like societies, what do they call, you know, what AIDS stops, humanitarian system, is
Mm-hmm.
because bullying is like, get rid of abnormal cells in society. Abnormal cells is somebody who thinks that, and for a lot of people, being abnormal is dedicating your life to anything else than to fight or procreate. If you're an
Yeah.
artist, a scientist, if you're not on earth to make money and bang chicks, you're not normal. You know, it's,
Yeah. It's a
and
strange thing.
I have parents of gifted children who were angry at the children good marks. I had children ask me to lower their marks because they're gonna get yelled at.
Why is that?
That's
Because they all want their children to pass and to succeed, but higher intelligence is associated with anomaly.
Mm.
Being like autistic. I'm autistic myself, but you know, I kind of control myself. But
Oh,
you know,
wow.
people are more obsessed with having normal kids than having better kids or or performing kids or good kids. Normalcy is more important than excellence. If normalcy is mediocre, they want their kid to be mediocre.
Why do you think it was like autism wasn't something that we heard about when we were? I mean, I'm 41. Anthony's like 40 or whatever. 30. How old are you, Anthony?
I'll be
39.
40 in October, so I'm
Like,
still 39.
so we grew up 83, 84. We were born. So, but like, I know you're born in the 70s. So like, but like, well, I never heard anything about autism. Did they just not discover it yet, or like, what's the
It was,
history?
well, back then people knew about it, but a bit in the 70s. But it was,
Okay.
but they consider it like the same way that some talk about, you know, what they call soft science, and people laughing at the story of sociology. So the study of autism was like, oh, it's giving people an excuse to be abnormal. Just take that kid out of my school. And also something that happened back then is when we had disabled children in schools, parents petitioned to have them removed.
Yeah.
Let's see, yeah.
I have a
They want
I
uniformity. Of course, some of them were not, but I mean the blunt conservative people, because I know good conservative people, I know good right wing people, you know. But I mean the blunt ones, the ones who want the aggression
So
at any cost, they want normalcy.
So I kind of like ADD or ADHD. That was the thing when we were kids or whatever. And so is that a form? And so is that totally separate from autism, or is
Well,
different?
what happens? I'm a teacher. I'm surrounded
Yeah.
by teachers. We are 120. And in other school, we were 120s. Some bandmates were teachers or dated teachers.
Oh,
And
cool.
I got told, you get this, you got that, you get this, you get that. And signs like you get it easily. When you're very emotional, you screw up everything. And so, but as for the mechanism of it, to tell you how it relates to each other, I don't know yet. I didn't study it properly.
Yeah, I
and
know
just
nothing
to
about it.
add to what you had mentioned, Casey, about why didn't we hear about it when we were younger?
It was taboo subject. It was taboo subject.
Yeah, it was obviously around.
And
It taboo, back cool again, taboo again. It's like, you know, we had sexuality books when I was 6 or 7. We had sexuality books when I saw other kids like me fully naked in our books, and we're made this way, this way, this way. In the 80s, it's Satan, burn everything. We're starting to get cool again. 95, blah 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 blah. Oh, okay, look, you're a fucking pedophile, blah 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 blah. I saw it back and forth. It's like a ping pong game.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same in every topic. What you talk about woman right or
I love history, dude. It's so cool. I'm not like I used to get into like a little bit of stuff. Like, of course, World War II is a very interesting history for a lot of people, but I never got into it like for real. And I used to was like what was that dude, the hardcore history guy, Dan
Carlin.
That he had some cool, I don't know, but it would be like he would start going off about some culture and some time, and for me it's like before a certain year, like my brain can't compute all that information of all that. It's like it takes a talent to be able to like just really understand, like it's like so much history.
There's so much
like,
information,
so
dude.
much stuff to know.
And I'm like, oh, I missed it. You talk, and I'm like, oh shit, I missed that. I should tell
sick,
them.
though. Yeah.
And that, I have like 31 topics, but I'll stick to 3. You know,
yeah,
like this.
But you have a talent for it because that's so cool. It's very,
it's a practice to really
it, like makes my brain just like
Thanks very much.
absorb all the information because,
Yeah.
like, you were just making me think about hardcore history, and it was his run on the Mongols and Genghis or
Oh, Genghis.
Genghis Khan, how he pronounces it, Genghis Khan,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's
I should.
really only like
I have
two pieces of information that I can pull out of my files right now, which is
DNA
one,
part.
they were
Yeah.
like the first ones seen on horses around there, so they were like seen as one giant centaur type creature.
Yeah, true. That's
and
Oh,
in
and
Castu, in Castu, the view European on horses like famous creators and were scarce shitlets. So that's why 500 wiped out 1 million of people.
yeah, and I remember like the resistance of the bow was like something crazy, but how they learned how to shoot when all four hooves were off the ground, I'm like, that's fucking sick, dude.
That
To
I
know,
didn't know.
but and then also that Genghis Khan is his DNA still in like something like 1 to 3% of the world population.
Everybody was named Khan as ancestry from Genghis Khan.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine that much fucking, dude. You did that much fucking.
In 1618, Ibrahim II married 280 wives. And he had them slaughtered because a soldier came to him and said, I think one of them cheated on you. Yeah, true. So, that's where, when I see like the manosphere, masculinist, that's where it goes when you let them do, when you don't put limits to them. Because our men will slaughter 300 women just for their little pride,
So
that's like
to battle the bully situation, did you dive into the books and that's why you got so interested in the
So,
history and
well,
all that?
unrelated to it, I think I dive into the book whenever even when I was very happy, So I like books, period. And
Mhm.
I used to go to the public library and spend like 5 hours a day. That's why I love internet right now. I go like, 30 seconds, I got it. You know, uh, uh,
Yeah,
that's something that puzzles a lot of people of my generation. I'm pretty anti-nostalgic.
really.
Yeah. So
You like that
I listen to stuff from
you
I rarely listen to old stuff, stuff from my if I hear Merciful Fate from 1984, Nasty Savage, I will enjoy. But I tend to listen to Avukrunu, Lunar Chamber, Shtonik. My favorite artist is Isyana Sarasvati. She's an Indonesian multi-instrumentalist. She has a career as an opera singer, as a pianist, as a sitcom comedian, dance music and pop, and she also plays progressive metal. She has a solo project, and she's also the keyboard player sometimes for the band Dead Squad. Dead Squad is an Indonesian band that's like Cryptopsy. So that girl
what's her name again?
Isyana Sarasvati. Isisy Anna Sarasvati. She's a total genius. She's one of the. I love a lot of female artists. My favorite band is Doll's Box from Japan. I love crypto a lot. I'm not the type of guy who will shy from a band because they are girl. Actually, you know what? One of my favorite bands ever is Baby Metal. So I absolutely hate their childish song like "Give Me Chocolate," but they have more obscure progressive songs that are more dramatic, more mature, and those are very, very great.
Yeah, I've
Uh,
actually, there's
yes.
our
I haven't really gotten into.
to us. I mean, when I say us, I would think that would, set a lot of metal heads off with
I know.
baby metal is
Oh.
it feels gimmicky,
Yeah, well, you know what? It's the case with many bands that I like. I don't love them because of the gimmick. I love them despite the gimmick. Well, I heard Merciful Fate one full year before seeing what King Diamond looked like. I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
that's great. Somebody show me a picture. He fucking looks like a dick, man. What's this look? I almost stopped loving the guy because of the. I thought gimmick musician looks stupid. Ghost looks stupid. I have some song. Baby Metal, I would have gone without the gimmicky stuff.
Right.
Sleep Token, they I don't want them to dress like in like Bermudas and sandals. If
I
they don't,
know, dude. I'm sorry. I totally agree. And
yeah. I
like
like the
that.
music before the image.
Joel
I
Easy,
play it
come on.
myself.
He disagrees.
Yeah.
Where's Joel? Come on, Joel.
I know, where is it?
Come on.
But I enjoy seeing the alchemy of music because all the ingredients are basically there and you can take whatever. I mean, I'm wearing a Bungle shirt right now, guys. They're pure alchemists when it comes to creating music, and I can't be an advocate for something like that and not say that I don't respect taking J-pop and mixing it with catchy metal music.
Okay, I'm just relocating because my wife is going to sleep, and my house is like a one big loft with no division, so I have to go upstairs to not disturb.
Hey, no problem, man.
Okay, I'm going to go here. I might talk lower a bit.
That's no problem. We can still hear you fine.
Okay.
But yeah, just to wrap that up, yeah, I back whoever's trying to mix shit. It may not be for me, it may not be for people, but at least somebody's attempting to try and make a new combination of something, because that's really where we're at musically, unless you go into the avant-garde, which is still, you can hit a wall in that direction as well.
And you know what? I talked to you about all those gimmick bands, but the fact is, if you go to Japan, you have 200 bands that are combination like Baby Metal. They have Dancing Little Girl with rough music in the back. All of them suck. I give a chance to like at least a dozen of them. The only one that's good. And so in every other gimmicks, you have other bands that look like Ghosts. You have other bands that are Rammstein. And you have one of them that's good, and as soon as you have one of them, that's enough. Don't try to make a 17 iteration of it. Right. There's only one Kiss. There's only one Black Sabbath. We don't need 70. You can do something similar, but try to diverse a bit. Try to be more original.
Yeah.
Right. Which I noticed that with Augury for sure. I was re-listening to all the stuff this week, and I kept telling myself, like, man, I forgot how unique this stuff was, because we grew up with it together. I got Concealed the year that it came out. I somehow stumbled across you guys through, back when things were being promoted. It would always be like, for fans of this, or I'd read a review of, I think it was, I maybe read a review of Unexpect's album at the time, and it had mentioned Augury somewhere in there, and I was like, oh well, I need to get on this Augury thing because I really enjoyed Unexpect, and so I bought Concealed.
That's funny. Unexpect did their very first show opening for my old band, for Shadow, and so did Martyr. And I saw Unexpect, like their very show, that they started with King Diamond's Welcome Home, and the guy who sang became the drummer, then became their keyboard player. It's funny. Cool. And I tried for that. I didn't try. I jammed on drums with them a couple of times when I started. And we took them on their first tour. Their first tour was with Augury in 2006.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm now forgetting the name of the album, the red album cover, not the EP.
We Invader. No, not the red one. Oh my god.
Something Soundscapes. No, not Soundscapes.
I forgot my cell phone downstairs.
Yeah, but that one was the one, and then everything else that they've done too. I'd love to actually talk to, if you're in contact with any of them, I'd love to talk to one or more of them, because that's a fascinating band to me.
The only one that's out in public, well, two of them are out in public. The drummer, he has a band, he has a prog band. I just don't remember what's their name. But it's very good. It's more like a Polyphia a bit. And the bass player, with an 11-string bass, I don't know, Fred, is very nice. He has a band called like Von Dogma.
I think maybe I might have been in contact with him. I would love to talk to him.
His name is Chaos. It's like chaos, but with a TH at the end. And
one of those guys. I
Frédéric
blew it
Fiala.
so hard. The name of the album was "In a Flesh Aquarium." Why was I
Yeah, in
thinking?
the Flesh Aquarium. Yeah.
Yeah, that album, and yeah, all their stuff is great though.
You don't
Utopia.
mind? I'm gonna just have a little sip and then back, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
I'm
Casey, do you
just,
remember Unexpect?
Oh, of course, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they're sick as fuck, man. They're insane. They're crazy. I was like,
Way
what the
crazy.
It was like all over the place. Rad
And
orchestra.
he'll probably mention it. I don't know if he will, but the female vocalist of the band is on their second album as well.
Oh, okay, nice.
She kills it too, and it sounds kind of like the other guys might be in there too, or Patrick did a good job sounding like the other guys.
Mhm.
Back more. Oh, what's that?
Okay.
Little wine.
a rum.
Nice.
Yeah,
rum
I like.
drinking.
I'm not a big alcohol drinker, but I like we do have Trois Pistoles. I like dark beer, like a
Mhm.
Guinness and stuff like this, or dark rum. I cannot drink much more else.
Yeah, I like
Mhm.
whiskey. I'm a whiskey. I've turned into a Kentucky bourbon kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's if I'm gonna drink one liquor on ice or something, it'll be whiskey.
I wanted to say real quick and jump in here. So, just to give us a little background, shout out to Augury. Like, we've been fans of Augury like a super long time.
Oh,
And
thanks.
Yeah, dude.
Our buddy Josh, you know, he's an old friend, and he used to sell merch for us way back, and he used to work at record stores, and he's always shown us music and been like, check this out. And this is in the early 2000s, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, Augury is actually my third band. Well, like just to carry on what you asked me about my
Yeah.
upbringing and stuff. You know, I tried to be a metal musician, but in the 80s, in the Satanic Panic. So the first time I played on the stage in 1985, but with friends who tried to do a song and didn't know it. It was horrible. But my first shows with a band was like 1990, 91. My first original recording was 91. And so I was my first record that was distributed abroad was 32, and you know, it's already people give up. So I was in a band called Foreshadow, 1990 to 1995, and we did 4 albums, and it was with old friends. It was more trash, like Testament a bit, with lots of humoristic overtone. We had a country song. And then I went into Cradizek. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but that's the name of the storm on June. And it was a band it started like a death metal band called Deafness. Then when I joined, I wanted to add the keyboard IDs that I had from my childhood over death metal. And at first they were really very reluctant. Then they bought a keyboard, and we just did it. But when it came out, like in 90 something, it was about at the same time that black metal. But we didn't want to be identified as a black metal band. We weren't into costuming and metal and makeup and stuff. And you know, but it's funny because I had people call me Emperor Copycat over a riff that I wrote in 1986. So just because, and I went to music store, tried a keyboard, and put like the spookiest sound I could. Ooh, nobody will never want to listen to it. I go to see Demo Barrier Soul. So and when Enya came out, I was like, I had Enya and Morbid Angel. So I had them play together in Ghetto Blasters. It was like, that sounds godly. I hope somebody wants to do something that sounds like that.
That's pretty rad, actually. That sounds like a good combo. I'd be into it if somebody did a mashup. Morbid Angel album.
It's very similar. Then the Cradizek, the problem with Cradizek, we couldn't find a drummer, so I did all the drums, and it was a drum machine. You know, back then it was not good enough to record the drums properly. I can now record drums. Merfolk, I record all the drums, and also the vocalist wanted to be the only vocalist in the. While I came from a band where I was a frontman, and the guy who didn't want to have 2 singers, he wanted me to just play guitar, but I already had song that had some of my vocals, so he created like a rift in the band, and I got kicked out. So I joined my old roommate Matthew, we've been talking about forming a band since 1997, but it's only in 2002 when Cali kicked me out that I just moved my stock into Matt's rehearsal room, and we started to jam together. And we were roommates, so we wrote our first song on old acoustic guitars tuned down to B. And the apartment where we lived, we were roommate to the guys in Neuraxis. So next door
Oh
was this
wow.
icon formed in front of my face. You had, hey, we
Yeah,
was
shut up.
yeah, because they started in our room where we were, and I saw a lot of stuff. Covadis did I think one of their first shows in opening for Foreshadow,
Awesome.
Martyr, and also we opened for
Love
the
them.
last that show that Martyr opened was like the second Cataclysm last show with Sylvain Wood. You know the singer they had before Maurizio switches to vocal. You know the guy with the big beard who go.
Yeah.
And there's a funny story because that guy is a bit of a nutcase, you know. And now he's a hobo, and he's been very disrespectful to people I know. So I don't put gloves with him. And yeah, they had 1995. They had an album called Temple of Knowledge. And the cover was supposed to be a temple with a orb of light levitating around it. And he called the artist, he had his face add into the orb without telling the rest of the band.
Wow.
Yeah, so go see Temple of Knowledge and you see that guy's face is in there. It was his ID.
It's I'm enjoying hearing you talk about all the bands that you're, involved working. You guys had the same kind of thing we had over here in California, where all the Bay Area bands and Santa Cruz bands, even some Southern California bands, we all had this group of bands, kind of like a collective of musicians that were making their own things, but still keeping like a certain bubble of creativity happening.
Yeah, it's friendship. It's a base of friendship.
Yeah.
Augury, where the band is 22 years old. And
Right.
and if we're still together with everything that happened to us, is because at first we were friends. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna hire a drummer and we were like three over four were together when I went to see Cryptopsy yesterday. So
Nice.
we live very far apart. We rarely see each other, but we adore each other. We're like brothers. It's like they are the brothers that I chose.
And that's how I feel with the Odious Mortem guys, with
Yeah.
Casey and Joel. He's not on here right now, but got Alex and Carrie in the mix too. And I just feel like, and David Siskin, Dan Eggers, everybody that has been involved in the Odious Mortem situation, they're all my brothers, dude. And I love all of them equally and just as much as I did 20 years ago,
Oh, great.
And that's those are the types of people you want to continue to make music with. And if if life gets in the way, you'd rather wait to do it with that person again if you can. Sitting Odious never broke up, but there was 14 years between an album, 2 albums, and it's just you that those are the people you want to continue making music with. And if the stars align, then another album will happen,
Yeah, totally. It's like and I prefer to do a few songs that are totally kick-ass than do 20 songs that are blah. I prefer quality to quantity, to be honest.
Yes.
All management people were like all mad at us because we took 9 years between 2 albums, because on the marketing shame it just doesn't work. And I know too many bands who had to squeeze their brain to make music that uninspired music because they needed a new album to justify the following tour, but they didn't have IDs. It was a sterile.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're working off of deadlines versus when the album is really felt to be done by the artist who makes it in the first place.
You are totally right. And I don't live off music, but I consider that my music is extremely much better than what it would be if I was forced to tour 9 months a year. And I create out of loneliness because, and then the only reason why I didn't kill anyone is because Augury are my best friends.
Yeah, you can't kill your best friends, dude.
No, yeah, I almost came close, but was it's like the band is a bit split. I do me and Forrest are very hot tempers, and Matt and Antoine are like, come on, guy, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always got to be one of those
But
guys.
we
I mean,
quiet down. We quiet down in the last few years. We were far mellower, but I mean, like in the 2005, six, blah blah blah.
it's that we've discussed this a few times, and I think it's all about our age and our brain development as testosterone filled
Right.
early 20s guys that have a vision that we're really stuck to because that's
I'm
really
like
all.
this. That's why I have Merfolk because the big difficulty for me in Augury is to supply a song that doesn't have a full drum track, a full bass track, and everything. All the rest because songs come all the rest in my mind. And
Mhm.
I wrote the drums on all my songs on Concealed and most of the rest. I wrote the drums. When you see every no piece, I sat behind the drum. That's what I want. But
Mhm.
they're not the kind of guys that you go walk in with a sheet of music and go play this. You
Yeah.
cannot. So I have to strip my music down to let them express themselves. And the funny part is that I created Merfolk to express my drum IDs and stuff like this. But problem is that what I sit to create Merfolk, it's all automatic. So all my preconceived plans just kind of disappear, and it's all like, okay, listen, I did that. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. But I mean but that's your way that you can fully, be at the helm of the project and you're laying it out exactly the way that you want it to be. And then augury is something you may, bring your ideas to, and then the other players also bounce off those ideas and it becomes something else totally different, but it's still not totally different, but
Yeah.
I like
Well,
the jam space, but that all depends on, the personalities of the people in the jam space too.
yeah.
But creating creating songs together is something that is probably the coolest thing that I miss because I haven't really created an actual song since Carnivorous. The rest of the songs that I've been on since then are just already written by these geniuses like Casey Howard and Mike Gilbert and Troy Fullerton and
Mike Gilbert, not the guy from Flotsam and Jetsam.
no. That's
Okay.
a different one. But Mike Gilbert is
Great
my
guitar.
my guitar player in Severed Savior. I don't know if you know of that band, but
I
he
heard
all
the name.
he's
I don't listen much music.
no, that's all good. I was gonna
It's
say
really back.
one thing that he has done recently that you would probably know about for sure is he not him personally, but the band Cynic. He went and did their European tour as the second guitar player.
Great.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
got
So
back from that.
it's funny to see. It's like I have Facebook friends that I know, they're musicians, that's cool. And then, he plays that big band that I used to love a lot.
Yeah.
It's like I saw Dead to Hall yesterday. It was like, that singer kills it, man. It's so
Oh
great.
yeah, Max is
And then
great.
I have my Facebook friend Max Phelps going, "Oh, great show!" That was you.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's
uh,
he's
one
Chuck
more thing.
Chuck
I go to
incarnate, dude.
I go to see Testament. I see a guy leaning on the bus and bye 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 blah 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 blah. Okay, bye. I thought it was Rudy. It was Alex Kolnick.
Oh
Oh damn,
man.
nice.
Yeah, dude. Shout out Max Phelps. He really does
Oh yeah,
Great.
he really
have
is showing younger kids, even me. I haven't seen Death, so it gives me the closest it possibly could get to having Chuck
It was
perform it.
great. I can tell you, it was like pristine, and the soloing was great, and Gene
fuck
was great.
yeah, dude. Yeah,
Gene
dude,
is
it's so good.
56, I think. It's like no, it's 57. So he was in shape, and before Cryptopsy, Flo's turning 15 in 2 weeks, I think. So it's like like in the 90s. So we just
Yeah.
have to keep in shape. And like, I'm older than Flo. I'm 4 years older than Flo. So and I still can sing. I yelled some death metal at the school show. The house went all nuts, and I can do it anytime. I could do it at 70 years old. The,
Nice.
the performance itself is the easiest thing into touring.
It's the what? What? Say that one more time.
The performance,
Performing.
performing is the easiest part of playing.
Yeah.
It's the waking up. It's like the hard part is like there are places they have us finish at 2 a.m. Go process to the hotel at 5-6 a.m. and waking up at 11 because they have to empty the room. 45 time in a row.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It's rough.
Friends, you know about it, eh?
Yeah, I've done enough of it to know that I don't want to keep doing it.
Oh, you're in the same boat.
So, all right, but talk about writing a little bit and concepts and stuff like that. How much do you is it just mainly you, or like you said, maybe other people contribute and that's how you guys build songs?
The songs is like the three of us build song. Normally, we each, me, Matt, and Forrest, each write like 3 songs, and that makes 9 songs. But sometimes we have somebody add riffs onto somebody else's song. So and the very last album we did everything. Like there were songs that we jammed as a band in the local, and there were other songs that were built from a distance and with computers and internet, and we did every form of songwriting possible. So there were songs that I wrote everything almost, and there were songs like that were more collective, and the same. As for the other guys, it's less because they're not singers, and I write all the lyrics and vocals. I got guided and helped with vocals on the first album though, and the second too. Like Forrest doesn't like when the vocal rhythmic is too like steady. He likes to have it like a odd time signature. So, but I struggle doing it while playing guitar, so we have to find a compromise with it.
Yeah. So you make a sacrifice in the words.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And normally, I will sing automatically and concentrate on my guitar playing when I do rhythms, and when I sing over solos, it's the opposite. And singing over solos is far easier than singing over steady rhythm because I have to match what Matt is playing. When you sing over solo, you can hold a note and go. And people say, "It's very easy, man." I started playing guitar in 1981. So it's like, and I see people like they've been playing for 3 years and go, "I'm not trying this." No. So it doesn't depend with time. It's not based on time, Sometimes you cannot go better. I have autocolory problems, so I like to reach my maximum on the guitar. So I simply I'll reach my maximum on other instruments. I did on bass. I actually started on bass. I took guitar in 83, bass in 81, and I was trying to do tapping on bass back then. And people said, "No, it's not a thing. You don't do it. Bass is for rhythm only." It's like, and you had a kid like pointing at Nicky Six saying, "That's a bass player." Forget your Geddy Lee stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't agree. Geddy Lee's bad.
Somebody worshiping Nicky Six as a bass player is a bit ironic. You worship Carol K, or you worship artificial intelligence. Motley Crue, I love them, man. To say it's them. They're the first show I ever saw with Accept in '84.
Really?
And Accept destroyed them.
Well, I mean, I've never really. I don't even remember any Motley Crue songs. What song did they sing?
Shout at the devil.
Yeah, that's a good one.
She got a
looks that kill. I was just gonna say that's very but they're Motley Crue. I mean, it's like I don't know.
And when you see Mike Mars and Vince Neil, it's like Liza Minnelli and those old actors from rich people sitcom shows. Linda Evans.
That tour though
Remember
they
that.
did with Ozzy or whatever back in the 80s, like if I was like a teenager in the 80s or something and I went to that, I probably would be down for that time in that era, you know. I would, but like,
Well,
but then it got super glam and yeah, but whatever, dude. It's just bands get the
Yeah, I
bigger
miss,
bands get, the more lame they get. It's just how it works.
like you missed the new metal thing, Casey. I missed the glam thing because
Oh yeah.
I couldn't name one. Well, I could probably name one. If you gave me
Well,
like here's 10 glam rock songs in a row, I might be able to call one
the
band.
only
You
reason I
know?
really know them is from like teaching music and stuff and getting back kind of into it. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't necessarily catch
okay,
like a
That
lot of
and
makes
them.
sense. That
Back
makes
in the day,
sense,
we were
dude.
listening to just like prog and weird stuff and electronic
yeah,
shit and then like metal and like we weren't like seeking out hair metal like back
Yeah.
in the but like going back to it like it's fun to get into music that you never were into at any point. It's like why not say hey I'm gonna fucking that was
Yeah,
kind
I
of cool
might
like see
maybe
it for
I'm
what it is like a time fucking
you're saying
piece and shit.
I should dive into some
I think you
glam
should
rock and
buy
see
a
if I
wig
find some
on Amazon like
yeah, because I definitely can't grow that hair anymore, dude.
throw on some
Top for sure.
something I just remembered is that in the 80s, what I listened to was actually the prequel of what I will listen like in the 90s or now. Because okay, Celtic Frost, Into the Pandemonium, it was symphonic metal. And before that, you had Believer, after that, Believer, Sanity Obscure, and then Dimension. It's symphonic metal over extreme metal 10 years before Dimmu Borgir. And you had Nasty Savage. I don't know if you know Nasty Savage from Florida, but had
yeah
the raw vocals and it's Morbid Angel, and it's the first band to have the clicky kick drums back in 1985.
yeah
Possessed. And Blind Illusion, the band that Larry Lalonde was in with Leslie Full before they formed Primus, the
yeah
Realm,
Mm.
a band
sick
called Realm. Warmack were a band with blast beats, and they did
yeah
blast beats with a cowbell.
Yeah. Is that the beer drinking guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The album Beer.
Yeah. That's actually my like one of my first encounters in the DMs with you is you posted about this one band like a few weeks ago and I can't find it because you post a lot and I was scrolling through your thing to find it and then I just decided to message you and say, what was that band? And you said War Mac. And I was like, oh yeah. And actually Paul Masvidal, when he came on, he had mentioned that band again and I
Yeah,
forgot the name because I've only read it through the DM that you sent me. I'd never said it out loud. But yeah, that's a great band, dude. They're just like a
yeah. They were
beer drinking
precise
crossover band that fucking blast beats and shit.
blast beat and slap and popping bass over
nice.
blast beats in 1987. And
Yeah.
Mordred, 1988. They had the rap over metal,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the DJ. So it's all. But back then they existed, but the industry said no, stay by the book. And according to the music industry in the 80s, most of the music I listen to right now would never exist. I kept getting told metal will die, metal will disappear in 5 years from now.
Mm.
Nobody will listen to metal. You should do your career now. So I lived in poverty most of my life because I listened to those people. If I knew that in 2024 metal would still thrive and that Death Wall and Cryptopsy would fill a big hall twice, I would have worked my ass, become a fucking millionaire, and put out 20 albums, and at 50 I would just tour.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think I think that metal's not ever gonna die.
Never.
It's spreading like a fungus, dude. It's literally
I love metal
becoming
from, you know what? And one of my favorite band is Rudra from Singapore. You should go listen to. They do like Hindu influence metal. They sing sometimes with Sanskrit, and there's a lot of band like Indonesia is the hotbed for prog metal. There are a lot of prog people in Indonesia.
Nice.
In Philippines, you know what? I play Metallica song on the guitar in my class, and all the Filipino do the tam da 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 dam da 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 dam, and they are all cute. They're like
Nice.
4 feet 5, and they're headbanging. They're cute,
Oh,
adorable. Yeah. And when
I'm
Duterte came in power, we had shitload of Filipino, and they're like, you want to adopt or marry them all or whatever because they're so nice. And when they come to parent meetings, it's funny because you have a bunch of cute girls. Dun, 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 dun. I'm like, okay, which one is the mother? because they
because
don't
they don't age. Yeah,
yeah.
metal's spread into like popular culture too, like you were
Yeah.
saying with baby metal, but there's other versions like Mastodon being in a Monsters Inc. movie, or
Rammstein and XXX.
there's another cartoon that I can't remember the name of it that is they had one episode where they're literally teaching kids about all the different subgenres of metal, grindcore, black metal.
Avisaurus.
Yeah. And then you got the, what is it, Metalocalypse and all that
Oh,
stuff.
that was great.
Those are other bridges and pathways into the metal realm.
Yeah. But it's like I remember in 1985 Judas Priest are Satan, and in 1985 you heard Judas Priest into a car ad on TV.
Yeah, that's a thing that blew up in their face. They brought up the Satanic Panic, and then it was even cooler after that. Everybody's like, "Ooh, this is called Satanic. We should be
Coming
going
back.
sneaking and sinking, drinking beers and listening to Satanic metal." Yeah, where you're just hiding in a bush with like 3 other guys, like with a little ghetto blaster, just listening to Morbid Angel. Like, dude, we're so fucking.
Who was the original Satanic Panic band? Like, was it Sabbath, or was Sabbath never really? Because I mean, the song, but it's not like they're like,
You want to scare people.
Kiss, maybe Kiss.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you know what? When I was a kid, like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all I read was books about satanic black mass human sacrifice and bringing up an ectoplasm and stuff. So I never seen anyone yelled. So, hello.
Hey,
the professor is here. A professor's meeting a professor, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, nice to meet you.
I'm Patrick.
Cool.
I think, what's your name again?
Joseph. Do you have the names that I pulled up?
Oh, yeah.
Of
course.
I know my name is Patrick, so I'm okay with this.
It's all good. Well, continue. I'm just popping in. I'll catch up.
Yeah, right.
What were we talking about?
I heard the word ectoplasm, if that helps, but
yeah, and there was a big industry of in the late 1870, 90, around Sherlock Holmes and Dracula. England was all about occultism. There was a wave of false ghosts, false ectoplasm, people molding a spirit. They have the mold of a hand. There was a big industry. Another big industry at the era was to reading people who read novels to the blind, because in wars people became blind a lot of time, and it was a big industry. So when the braille, reading with your hands with braille writing, came big catastrophe, because blind people could read by themselves, and so they all lost their jobs.
And actually,
like the Luddites, they destroyed the first steam engines. Every new technology, I recall at every era, people who rejected new technology were always considered morally higher. Yeah, people who refused to ride a train and stuck to horses. People who refused to use a crossbow and stuck to bows. The first steam engines got destroyed. The first hot air balloons that were not protected by the king got destroyed.
That's the classic. Back in my day, we used to do it this way.
I think so. Joseph is I'm going to spill his beans here. He's a philosophy professor, and so I feel like Pat's been like talking about some pretty interesting historical stuff and philosophies of kind of sociology as well, of course. But whatever you think, it's kind of interesting to see what you think, Joseph, about.
Yeah, what's the context of all this? Like, you're talking about evolution.
He's a history professor.
Okay.
I wrote the story book, and what I find is that I study like a similar instance in different eras, like in the industrial world, in 1850. Every time a counterculture became very popular in a specific country, a dictatorship followed. So that occurred in Afghanistan. They were into EP culture back in the 70s. If you study the Chilean cultures in 1969 to 1973, it was very peace and love. The biggest example is Greece. In 1967, there was a Rolling Stones shows in Athens in Greece. And that's where the local far right found how many EPs they actually had in the country. So they went into panic mode. They charged the concert, started eating people, and the Stones were kicked in the plane and sent back home. And 2 days later, they topped the government and they put their dictatorship. I'm sorry, it's 11 here and I'm getting tired.
That's
That
okay.
dictatorship, and I will always translate as I talk. That dictatorship forbid history teachings, everything relative to Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, and stuff. They forbid long hair. They forbid the peace and love sign. They forbid everything. And that dictatorship was backed by the Orthodox Church. So was Slobodan Milosevic. So was Vladimir Putin when he invaded Ukraine. But because I ended my history book with a quote by Carlo Maria Vignano, apostolic bishop from the Vatican. He celebrated the war in Ukraine. Do you know what he said? Because Ukraine deserved it. They have too many women in politics. They have too many women in the army. They had gay prides. Oh, their most popular singer was a black woman. All around Ukraine, the other side of the Black Sea, it's Sharia wonderland with honor crimes. They cannot tolerate. History is full of tolerant and progressive countries being attacked by more rigorous ones. You read the Old Testament. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to walk 3,000 miles into the desert to go blow up those people because they let their women do politics. Greeks dreamed of invading Egypt to force women out of politics. Back in 400 BC. You have the very same whining that Joe pickup guy. Today, what do they want? Women out of politics, foreigners away, gays underground. It's the same whether you're in 1850 or now. Fascist people aim at the same thing, and it's a pretty instinctive. It's instinctive. It's like the cult. I call it the cult of the dominant male because when I was a kid, I have to tell you something very tricky. When I was a kid, I read a lot of stuff about animal behavior. And stuff about animal being tough, very big skill. In the 60s and 70s, they taught dolphin almost to talk, and gorillas also to do the end signal talk and stuff. And what happened is that I spotted something. Animals that were tough human skills, most of them reject those skills when they hit puberty. So only the females, the young or the spayed specimen, kept showing interest into the skills. The normal ones where testosterone start rising and was start about meaning totally rejected all the training they had. But they didn't stop there. When they reintroduced a trained animal with the wild ones, those who exhibited the human skill were chased and persecuted by the others. And there's a book about it. It's called Jonathan Livingstone Seagull. It's like an allegory by Frederick Bach. And the story of a seagull who is rejected socially because he learned acrobatics. In the seagull society, you fly only to get food or mate. So human, how do I say? Just or blunt humans are like that. We live your life to get food, mate, and that's it. If your pursuit of life is art, science, or everything, you're flawed. You're wrong. Yeah, there's something wrong with you. So that's why there are people who don't accept that other humans function outside of that pattern, and they absolutely want to bring the whole society back to that pattern. To them, society is correct when every woman have babies, when every man go to war. And you see in primitive society, they have only one artist in the whole tribe. And even back in Aristotle time, there were people that say when too many people write or read in a society, it's doomed. You have that means less warriors. So we are full of people who are dominated by their instinct and they want to turn us into Sparta 2.0. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was my question was going to be like, why do they do that? But then you just answered it.
Instinctively.
You just answered it. It's because they
they
want to make warriors.
You have societies that are totally isolated, that cannot be influenced by anything, and they go into the very same circle of processes.
Yeah. Okay. This is to bring my like philosophy or history of philosophy
Yeah,
back onto this. One thing that I learned recently that I must have known in the past, but I forgot, was that many famous philosophers whose works are all well known, like Plato, um, were actually at one point in their life captured and sold into slavery. And that's like kind of incredible to imagine, like some scholar whose works are still debated, 2,500 years later, that's part of their life.
They were teachers. That's it.
Yeah, but because Athens was near Sparta, and Sparta was, like you said, a warrior society, and they didn't give a shit about what people were writing or anything. They were just about dominating, and so that just kind of like, in my world, that's the example of when a democracy and a flourishing intellectual culture gets ruined is by another culture coming and literally enslaving the people there who were
totally. You get
intellectuals.
it right. Yeah.
I wonder what Joel thinks. I don't know.
So let's remain stupid.
Oh, hey,
Patrick, how's it going? Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, I totally.
No, I was just listening. I was looking for a good time to jump in because I've been stuck with work. But wait, I'm sitting next to my phone. I might have to go away. But I wanted to at least stop in and say hello. It's been a long time, man.
Yeah, I'm very glad to meet you, bro.
Yeah.
Touring was hard, but you were a good part of it, the guys. The people I toured with were like
the dude.
Like
it was interesting. It was the Vader tour, right?
The Vader tour.
It was on the radio tour. Played bass.
There was a lot of interesting times on that tour.
Yeah.
2009.
That was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
Wow,
I saw the San Francisco show. I've talked about it many times.
The DNA Lounge. Yeah.
The DNA Lounge.
I found a funny article about it. Someone wrote it. I searched it.
Yeah. I saw Augury live in 2009. That was a great show. And then Spencer Edwards got too stoned and fell on the ground and had to sit out the rest of the show across the street. So that's my story I always tell. Shout out, Spencer.
Green outs are a thing, dude. I don't think I've ever greened out, dude.
Yeah, but it was a great show.
I never even heard that.
And Augury, I just to keep going with what I'm talking. I had is it Fragmentary Evidence? I had that record in my car for a long time. That CD is really cool, and I had it
really cool
spinning. Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, like I was saying, our buddy Josh, we all grew up early 2000. Like as soon as Augury, that was one of the bands. He was just like, dude, fuck. He was like, and he's very excited about the episode tonight. And he's
Concealed an old friend. Was 04 when it was released.
Was it 04? Okay, yeah, that makes sense because that's when we moved up to Santa Cruz, whatever.
Yep,
at least I did. Anyways, we were big fans of Augury before we got to play with you and meet you guys and play with Neuraxis and everyone up in Joel. Like there was a few clubs up in Montreal. There was one that I remember when the first time we played with Augury, and that wasn't the Bloodletting, was it? It must have been with Decrepit. It wasn't. But we did this big show at this.
Electric, which means electric buttocks.
Yeah, it's probably Fufonus.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Fufon means butt. That's a cute word to when you slap a baby's butt. It's cute. And electric because it was a punk bar, so they tried to be weird. That bar was founded in 1983 when you had the big punk, no future culture and stuff. And that place used to be very scary back then with cages and fighting people. And then now today, people walk with their suitcase and tie and have a beer, listening to world music.
Yeah. What happened to the
Medley closed. I'm sorry. I love that place. And it got something else. I saw Cryptopsy yesterday in a new room that was really great with true level of balcony. And the top, the sound was great, and I'm so happy, because we lost mid-level rooms. It was a very small bar or a stadium, but for bands in between, it's like it was not appropriate.
Definitely. Sure, have you gone into your whole spider stuff? Have you already talked about it?
I still have 50 tarantulas, but I used to own up to 200 when I started touring. I had a few of them that are still alive because some of them can live like 25. I have a bird eater like Apophysis that's over almost 11 inches. It's a quarter pound. It's like a lobster.
God. So what? I mean, what originally got you into spiders? I know we talked about it a lot on tour, but I remember you were showing me pictures of like those purple, like hot, like
Yeah, I like the
bright
colors,
purple ones and stuff like that. But yeah, but you were way into it, and they scared the crap out of me. So I'm wondering like where you got the love for it, because a lot of people are scared of them.
Well, because I did not have room for a great white shark, an alligator, of a colder value. No, but I'm into weird animals. Well, I still love cats.
Did you bring any on tour with you?
Carpet python.
Are you saying you're scared of him? Like he brought him on tour? Did you bring some on tour with you?
No, we didn't bring it on tour.
Oh,
They're
okay.
too fragile. I was scared of our spider because the tarantula is a different thing. It's first of all a lot of fluffy, a lot of colored, so you don't feel the same. You feel like a different animal than a spider because beyond a certain size, it stops being a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the size of a kitten. So some of them. So I
Right.
had I'm gonna buy a Scorpendra too soon.
Dude,
Yeah,
there's
that's
some
cool.
big ass spiders on this planet, dude.
Terraphosa apophysis can go to 14 inches.
Jesus.
14 inches,
That's
dude.
like-
And where are they from?
A male reached that size in
Where are they? Where's their land? Where's their
Venezuela.
origin?
Venezuela, and they get very big. The Terraphosa is a genus of tree. The original record holder in the Guinness Book is Terraphosa blondie, and the record is from 1965. But since then, they found two other species, the Terraphosa apophysis, which is the widest, and Terraphosa sturmi, which is the heaviest. So blondie is the smallest of the three right now, but it still holds the official record because the problem is that the science, when it's an invertebrate, they absolutely want to kill it and pull it into formaldehyde. But when you have a spider that is 20 years old and might be live another 10 years, and it's worth like $2,000, you don't want the scientists to kill it to measure it. That's why those records remain unofficial.
What about those spiders that
You
like
know
the
a lot
camel,
of shit, dude.
not camel spiders, but what are those spiders
ones
that
in,
like have like a exo? They have, like look like a lobster almost. I've
Oh
seen
yeah.
them.
Well,
Those-
actually,
Camel
bro,
spiders.
it's all the same thing. Spiders,
Okay.
scorpions, are insects, any lobster, crustaceans, everything that has an articulated outer armor is the very same thing. We call them arthropod, and spiders are land arthropods, and lobsters are sea arthropods. That's it.
Oh,
So
wow.
okay, now here's my
They need to
question.
molt to grow up.
Does a spider breathe? Because can a spider go underwater for a long period of time, or will it?
There are
drown?
spiders that do. You have the diving bell spider that will literally wrap itself in a bubble and drag the bubble with them, and the opening to breath around the abdomen in the back, and also some tarantulas dive and they have like a film of hair all over them, so they can last a few hours underwater. Some of them actively hunt underwater. Some of them swim over water.
Jeez.
So do they have a lung system though? Or do they breathe, or how do they get absorb oxygen?
Well, how a spider is made. You have like the central part with the legs, the 8 ambulatory legs, and the pedipalps that are for handling, and the fangs, which are actually modified legs.
Mhm.
A spider fangs is a nail and not a tooth, by the way. And you have the other part that is the abdomen. That's the only actually soft part on a spider. That's the one that can expand to contain food or eggs and stuff. And when you have a pet spider and the butt is very small, you have to feed it or give it water. That's how you know if she's okay. The junction, so you see the ventral aspect, the junction of the abdomen and the thorax. On the abdomen near that junction, you have like 4 little slits. Those are the lungs, what we call book lungs, are passive breathing. It doesn't go, it's passive breathing. It just go with the flow. Between the lungs, you have the sexual organ. So they have their sex organ between their lungs.
Whoa.
Oh, weird.
That's
Trippy.
part of it.
Yeah. I don't remember you guys. So Forrest drummed for
Nice.
you guys, right? Or not Forrest. Robin.
Yeah.
Robin, is he the one that filled in on the tour for you
On
guys?
the
Right?
from Memento.
Was
Yeah.
You mean Rob Stone on drums? Yeah, he learned the
Yeah.
songs on the airplane coming in, and
That's right.
and at first he struggled because our song had a lot of odd time signatures. It was not like, but within two, so he just goes talk. It was a machine. It's such a cool guy, man.
Yeah.
When, Yeah, we actually considered hiring half of the Amanta as our rhythm section and make it a Canadian Australian band back then
Nice.
because we dug the Amanta. They are so friendly.
Yeah, dude.
There was
Rad.
so I remember we had four. I keep wanting to call him Force. Rob on, and he was talking about how he constantly growing up had to deal with those redback spiders in Australia. They were all over
I
the
used to have
place.
one.
You used to have one.
Yeah, I used to have one. My ex-wife paid it like $60, and he has them for free. Lucky guy.
Jesus, they're one of the most. They're like top 3 deadliest, right? Top 1 or 2 deadliest.
Well, the widows, almost nobody dies from a widow bite.
Okay.
Widows didn't kill many people. It was very few people long ago. And you know what? The funny part is that the people who died from a widow bite were bitten in the scrotum.
Oh yeah,
Because,
well,
that makes sense.
if you get bit in the scrotum by a black widow, you deserve to die.
and
It was destiny.
I'll tell you what happened, man, is because in the woods there are lumberjack camps, and they don't have a toilet. They have like because back house in the back with a very rudimentary toilet with a seat and a wooden box with a hole in it and the seat, and the spider often waves its web between the seat and the box, and so the dangling balls go because that's one of the few places where the skin is thin enough. There are lots of venomous spiders. Like you have the sand spiders, Sicarius. It has the strongest venom, but we found by hazard in the laboratory because it never bit anybody. The only 2 really deadly spiders are Atrax robustum from Australia. It's not the redback, it's the funnel web. Funnel web cleans its teeth with redbacks. And in Brazil, they have the Phonotria family, like the banana spiders. That's the 2 deadly spiders.
Oh, the
Some
banana
others
ones,
can make you very sick, but people really die. Some tarantula killed people in 1907. You know,
Damn.
2 questions.
Oh,
2 questions. We can't pass it up.
I have 2 questions.
What?
What a
We can't.
coincidence.
Maybe we have one question that is the same
No,
thing.
mine are totally separate from yours. I guarantee.
Oh, okay.
Here,
Well,
you go first.
one, we are a banana-friendly podcast. What the fuck is a banana spider?
Banana
you don't know
spider
about
is the
banana
name of.
spiders?
Okay, Phonotria nigriventer. So Phonotria is you type PHONUNEUTRIA. So, and we call them banana spider because we often find them in bananas in stores in North America because they hitch a ride.
They hit your ride, bro. No,
Yeah, they don't look like
100%.
bananas. They're more like
They
green
will
red.
fuck you up. They're gnarly, dude. They're like
So Alex Webster's like in high risk. Weber is in high risk of getting banana spider because he eats like 13 bananas a day or something. He said.
Well, that depends. Normally, if the bananas are so separately, the spiders are gone. It's when you have a bunch of bananas wrapped as is from like South America that you get them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, sorry, Al. Quick second question. What's the most venomous spider you've owned?
I've owned the redback, the redback, Australian redback. I own a Southern Black Widow, the one with the hard lass. That's the one. Yeah. But the juvenile one, it can get to 4 inches. I've owned everything that's African is pretty venomous, and everything that's South Asian is pretty venomous as well. American tarantulas are pretty mild, most of them, and the most venomous centipede. Centipede they are extremely aggressive. It's like if you have a bunch of tarantulas doing the bunny up, but with fangs at the one hand, and your hands swell like a boxing gloves. You don't die, but you wish to.
Oh man.
Yeah, I never got bit by any of my animals.
Well, speaking of which, that leads perfectly into my 2 questions. So, have you heard of the tarantula hawk?
No, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
they use tarantulas to as a breeding ground. They for their young. They put the egg into the paralyzed tarantula, and the babies devour the tarantula. There's actually a kind of tarantulas that allows its own babies to eat it to develop. There's no food available, so they eat their mother.
It's gnarlier than like an alien movie. dude.
Mhm.
Yeah, they just and they like the babies eat their way out like to the
Yeah,
tarantula.
yeah.
So
It's
insane.
like serious sacrifice, dude. Like
Yeah.
our species has to continue.
By the way,
Just eat
shout out
me, and hopefully you survive
my
for
second
somebody to eat
question
you.
Second
That-
question.
is: have you heard of the band Tarantula Hawk? Kind of
No,
basic.
I never heard of.
Yeah.
This
From
thing.
San Diego, sick band. They're fucking rad. Check out
Yeah.
Tarantula Hawk, everybody.
All right, I
What
will
style
try.
of music?
It's like crazy, insane, psychedelic, like
The drummer has 8 arms.
jam void, crazy madness. Like I recall, I think they have like 2 bass players with like these sequencer things and like keyboards, and it's like heavy driving desert psychedelic, fucking badass. It sounds like exactly how the band name Tarantula Hawks should sound.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, check
Yeah,
it out.
the sting is real painful from the tarantula hog, by the way.
That's the other thing. Yeah. Have you
It's
ever been
not a
stung by a
tarantula or a hawk. It's crazy.
Tarantulas, well, American tarantulas have mostly mild venom, but they have other weapons that the others don't have. Like it depends because they have different predators. In Asia, the predator is mostly a monkey-like creature that will grab them, so it's bite first or you die. In America, predators are mostly raccoon-like animals. So the tarantula has urticating hair on its butt that it throws into the predator's nose. Simply,
Mm.
Wow.
that it just brush their hair, so that makes a cloud, and you go all itchy. And also, they have bigger fangs, so the mechanical damage. Because tarantulas are the ancestors of modern spiders, the same way sharks are the ancestors of modern fish. So tarantulas is a bit like the too well made to disappear ancestors. So they're like perfect. And the mechanism is like the modern spiders bite this way, so opposing fangs that cross inside the victim. And then they will inject a liquid that will liquefy the inside, but leave the exoskeleton intact mostly. That's why you see flies and hollow flies into a spider web. Tarantulas have fangs that go downward and that pin the prey against its belly. So it goes this way, and the fangs are much thicker. So the fangs go with this motion when once the prey is like immobilized and the prey is totally grounded. You cannot recognize anything.
So
Wow.
do they still inject like the
Yeah,
digestive
yeah. Because
enzymes
in
and
both cases, the venom is what enables it to digest its prey. It has to. Most spiders, including tarantulas, has an extremely tiny mouth. You take a gold-headed bird eater, the mouth and esophagus is like the size of a hair, and it's like it cannot eat anything solid. It has to prepare their food. It's one of the few creatures that has to prepare a food. You know, a lion would just grab a chunk and swallow it. Tarantula has to catch a prey, drag the prey somewhere, make a mat, put the prey on the mat, then make a little dance and bring the mat, and then chew the prey to liquefy it, and the liquid is what they can absorb because the
Yeah.
solid parts they cannot absorb any solid part.
Oh yeah.
So as a fellow tarantula owner, now I have a couple more questions. One, my tarantula loves crickets. Do you think crickets are good enough?
It's okay. I don't recommend giving mice if you have a big tarantulas because
No, I only have a
useless
pink coat. She's
squirrel.
only about this big.
Jesus.
At this size, many crickets, or you can go with the super worms, mealworms, and
Yeah, she didn't really like those.
and
I
also
already tried worms.
when they molt, you wait until the fangs are black again before resuming feeding.
Oh
or else-
yeah, I knew that because they're very vulnerable in that
yeah,
state.
exactly,
Their exoskeleton suit. It's like soft shell crab almost.
exactly, yeah, totally.
And actually, a cricket's a little fucker that will come up and
They,
try
they,
and
they can eat a lot of exotic animal has been eaten by the intended prey. You
yeah,
have mice that killed snakes.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And okay, and then so second question, and I'll shut up about
It's okay.
getting advice. But what do you think the cricket should be eating? I've always put fruit in there, but
Oh, carrots, and I know tarantula offer them grounded cat food.
oh, okay.
Grounded
See,
carrots,
that's
grounded
actually
cat
what I
food,
was
and you
thinking.
change them every
'Cause
day.
I've always been doing fruit and vegetables and stuff, but I
It
didn't
turns
really
into
think about.
sugar and then into
I always thought
alcohol.
maybe the cricket's just the protein, but if they could get load with a little bit of protein too, then
Yeah.
my tarantula gets that.
I think you're okay with crickets, regular crickets, and superworms.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
I have a question back on Augury. How's Matthew doing? I haven't seen
Oh,
Matthew.
Matt is very nice, very fine. He's resuming recording. He moved, and so he's like building his studio back again. So the same for me.
Nice.
So we will have new studios this summer and resume the fourth album. And we'll try to do it before another 9 years. It's fun part because we never intended to be slow, but life is life, and it's like in March 2 years ago, I was out of music completely. I thought I was dying. I thought I would be in a wheelchair all of my life and stuff. And I like it.
Oh, wow.
I like it. This camera looks like I have a white mask around my eyes. I'm not Donald Trump,
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah,
I
Joel,
actually
you
have
missed,
because I wear glasses. So
Yeah.
I have a picture.
had-
I have a picture that Matt drew of me, though. I wanted to show everyone. Because Matt, remember on tour, he draws these pictures.
yeah. Oh my God, I remember it. I totally remember it.
Oh my god.
I
He
totally
drew one of
remember
Casey. No,
it.
he drew one of all of them. Yeah, he drew like of
Oh,
all
this
of
is
us
the
on
best.
tour. He like drew.
Now he's an artist.
some-
Hey, do you know that he has his art page, but that is much better than this, what he does right now.
Oh, yeah.
With his picture right now.
Do you have any other ones? That is great.
No, that's the only one I have. That's the
that's
one
good.
that I remember. I remember just like I was thinking about Augury, and I was like, oh, Matt, like have this picture from Matt on there, and yeah, touring with you guys was awesome, man. I really, you taught me a lot about like your persona is very unique, and that's what I loved about it is that you would come like with Alien Shores, tell a story about all the stuff. I forget the story behind that. At the time it was fresh in my mind, but you'd explain things like from a historical perspective or like a kind of trippy conspiracy historical perspective. Can you explain the Alien Shores thing like you did on stage, like you used to?
Totally. Alien Shore is about, it's about the fact that first you have underwater ruins, and I theorize a big theory. It's like Graham, whatever, not Graham Hancock, but
Graham.
yes, him a bit. But it's about having civilizations that lived like 40,000 years ago, but in places that are now either underwater or under the jungle or in volcano inaccessible places. And they became underwater because periodically the Earth tilts, and so do the glaciers, because the glaciers would always follow what is the pole at that time. And when the glacier, and then also the Earth was a bit more like straight. They didn't have the tilt that generates the seasons, so it was a bit more straight. So you mean you had an eternal winter around the then North Pole, and you have a constant accumulation of ice that never melts. So we had the bigger glacier, and the one 70,000 years ago was over Alaska. So it pushed Alaska down, and that part of the tectonic plate goes down, but the opposite end in the mid-Atlantic goes up. And then it shifts according to Charles School 4 times. And the last time what happens is that when the ice cap was long gone from Alaska rose. They call it isostatic rebound. And the other end of the tectonic plate went back underwater. We all know that legend. And
Like
the same,
like a teeter totter.
yeah. And the problem is that the Azores Island are the hinge between the North American plate and the European plate. So the European plate went this very same way and went back up and down again 7,500 years ago, which caused Mediterranean Sea to burst into the Bosphorus and onto the Black Sea. That was a freshwater lake, and you had the sea that went over the freshwater lake that went and receded. We call it the flood. Every civilization has a flood. You have Doggerland, England was a bigger landmass. Sundaland, Southeast Asia was a bigger landmass with the Philippines accessible by foot. And so that's what happens. So there were civilization on places that are now underwater. And there's the Onaguni and they found pyramids somewhere in Pacific Islands. The problem is that there were clear attempts to destroy some of those artifacts, and there were clear attempts to ridicule the finds on TV. Yonaguni was found in 1985. I saw the first image in 92, 93, and they were great. I never heard of them. The first time I saw them on TV was 2 years ago. They were, BBC issued some kind of a documentary. You had 5 seconds of the footage of the ruins that go very fast, And then the rest of the show was like, that's bullshit, that's bullshit. They took drugs, that bullshit. And the last 5 minutes, the Nazi were into it. So it's like everything was like to discredit. I did participate with a project that were legit, like the Star Child skull. They found a skull in 1929 in Mexico, in a grotto. The skull is like much wider than ours, with a very thin jaw and huge eyes. And the skull is very symmetrical. It's not hydrocephalic people. What they found, the optic nerves, instead of coming from the back of the head behind the eye, came from there. And the volume of the brain was like twice. The density was different. The neck was very thin. The jaw was underdeveloped. And Lord asked me to help him with the research. I helped him fund the research over it, but I was broke then, so I didn't give him very much. And that thing was only partially human. And they found that the bone structure was that of something that normally grows under very low gravity. And the funniest part now, the Mexican Indians who found the skull had a legend about the star children. Periodically, a young girl will be visited by an angel and will give birth to a very special child who will change the world. I think we know a lot about one of them.
Dang. That is crazy.
Osiris.
So
Osiris was born like this too.
Talk about your first. Where did your brain switch to start following these rabbit holes into, alien?
Forever. I think very early, very early 80s. I was a preteen.
What do you think was the first thing? Was it Roswell? Was it something?
No, Bermuda Triangle and the black masses.
Bermuda Triangle is something that's always it's something that I've known about my whole life, and it's always been trippy.
There are ruins, actually. And you know what? There's something I'm thinking I'm the only person to believe on Earth, but I think starting getting very legit, is that that in Pacific Islands they conducted like 3,000 atomic tests and nuclear explosions and stuff. I think the purpose of some of them were to destroy ruins and artifacts. Because they found a farmer I pen palled with. I just read what he wrote. In Oklahoma, near Texcoma Lake, they found the ruins on a farmer's yard. The farmer called some kind of historian to analyze it, and it's like 14,000 years old. Army came, raised everything, and if you let anyone dig there, you're dead. There's always a cut. So Indian Shore is about. There's always a constant fight to try to destroy any ruins that might contradict official history.
Exactly. You just made me think. My whole life, the statistic has been, we only have just explored 5% of the ocean. Well, I'm 40 years old. Why hasn't that gone up at least 1%?
First, they have to make money out of it. A lot of projects don't occur because nobody makes money out of it. You can only make the project that somebody will fork money for because he's going to get his money back. That's a problem with financing science overall.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's cool. Like in your rabbit holes and going down, like we were just talking about alien shores and stuff. I wanted to point out something that was how you kind of translated on guitar a little bit, because I know. When I saw this live, first I heard, I'm going to go into Beatus, but at the very end of Beatus, which you might and I have it pulled up right here. Are you doing it kind of recently?
I just like
that intro is so fucking cool, dude.
Okay.
No, but this in that intro too, the swelling.
And I built the guitar, and the specifically position of the pickup because on other guitar doesn't work. So only two guitars I own, I could do this accurately. And if you ask me, it's simply I try to build the ambience. So I talk about something mysterious. I will try to make a mysterious ambience with the music.
Yeah, and it's crazy how when I first heard you do it on the album, I was like, all right, well, live it's not going to translate. It's not. I don't. For some reason, I felt like it wouldn't be as loud live when you do that on do that technique. But it's so perfect every night. I remember watching, and there's a little clip of it, but every night it was just like back a little bit because we need to build up to it.
Oh, hey Joel, put it at 720. It'll play better. The video at 720.
I mean, I also have my crappy internet. It's at 1080, so.
Yeah, no, I had this. I figured out this issue.
The guy with the bear that on the right is a porn actor.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was my favorite every night when you hit yourself on the head with the guitar. You always, bam. That was like something I remember like every night. I remember that was the. It was kind of like when you did that. I was like, all right, we got to get ready to go on stage. When you did that, that was like my calling. Like, all right,
exactly. I bang my guitar. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. No, it was awesome, man. I like I said before, your stage presence and everything was so unique and so like it just basically took me down a different path I'd never seen, and it wasn't like "What's up, motherfuckers?" Blah blah blah. It was very like a professor. It was like a professor. No, yeah, just going like in talking and stuff. Not the professor, but a professor. Just going up there and talking, and then doing like with some like extra brutal. Like metal, like one of the craziest metal bands in the world, just comes out after like starting from like you're just like, hey, how you doing, guys? What's going on? Like it always was such a cool different style.
It's just another example of how great the Canadian extreme metal scene and how parallel I truly believe it's parallel with everything else that was going on in the United States. They contributed North America. When we talk about US death metal, but I think that it's North American death metal because there even you missed it earlier. Patrick was talking about being around all these bands coming up, Neuraxis, Martyr, Quo Vadis, and all these bands. They had the same kind of collective we kind of did.
We're roommates.
Our little bubbles, crazy. We have our own little like collective bubbles where it's a bunch of different artists having a bunch of different projects, but we all kind of make this energetic space to where it kind of keeps us going because we know everybody else is working on it,
Mm-hmm.
And you get an Augury, you get a Martyr out of that, you get a fucking all these crazy bands, and I love that, and I wish we could pinpoint all those bubbles. There's some of those bubbles don't have a big enough voice to be heard right now.
Yeah, and it's weird because there are stuff I made in the 90s that generate more interest now than then, because then you played for your area code and that's it. There was no internet. Yeah. Before internet, the abroad was unreachable to me. It's only when we got signed. We got signed before internet became very big, but most music I know now I wouldn't know without internet. The most scene would not exist because you would have a mix of genre from international band from 5 different countries. If there was not internet, some scenes would not exist.
Is there any demos before Concealed? Did you guys have any recordings that you guys got hidden away in a closet somewhere?
So there's something we did, but I don't remember. Something we did before. You have the 2 songs on the Concealed reissue. You have 2 extra songs that were from a demo we did. I think we recorded stuff I'm not sure. We tried with André Bénédicte Fragé, a friend of us, but I don't know where it went. Hey guys, I won't be very long with you because it's already 11:15 here, and
man,
that's definitely.
You've been awesome.
We definitely understand.
Great,
it's
100%.
I mean, it'd been funny if we originally Anthony had it planned to start right now.
Oh my!
I didn't. I messed up this week, guys. I don't know where my head was at with the scheduling, and the flyer said 8 because of me, not because of anybody else, and I'm sorry.
What time is it to where you are?
We are
8:15.
8:15.
Let's have a
It's early for you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No,
I am in the future.
Yeah. I totally blew it, but
dude,
it worked out, and I'm so happy that it did.
Yeah, glad to see you and talk to you again, Patrick. It's been so many years, and I'm super stoked you're talking about new studio and you guys are still doing it. That's very exciting for all of us.
Well, thank you very much. We should do it again. All right.
Definitely.
Yes,
definitely. Hey, when the new album comes out, or a new album's gonna come out, just get you and and Matthew and stuff on here, or and
Okay.
is Forrest still in the band, right? Forrest is
It's the same
Yeah.
guys. Me, Matt, Forrest, Antoine. And by the way,
Nice.
are you still are you all Facebook friend with me?
I think
Yes.
I am.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, because I will try to send you my solo stuff because, like I told you, I struggle a lot to get it outside of my inner circle and stuff. I got
Love it.
great review. Oh, I got it a private message from my friend because when I see on, I'll tell you, there's a reporter who made a critic of my solo album. She put it on her site and it disappeared. She had to put it twice again just to keep seeing it. It's like some hacker tried to erase it. So I will say write to me and I will send it back to you. So you might like it. It's very different.
Right
Can we
on,
post
dude.
it? Is it something we could post?
Please.
All
Okay,
right.
okay. Yeah, we'll post
Sure.
it. We'll post it. Cali
Most
Death and all
definitely.
of us will post it.
All right.
Most
Thank you very much,
definitely.
girls.
Right on.
Thank
Hey
you,
guys,
man.
you guys want to hang out
Yeah,
for a little bit longer? Well, Pat
Of
can
course.
leave and then we hang out. We'll talk to Joseph about
yeah, yeah, sure.
Switzerland and all that.
Yeah,
fun
sure.
stuff.
We could
You
cool.
asked me to
Pat?
hang out a bit more.
What's that?
Okay, I thought you asked me to stay more.
No.
No,
You can leave, Pat. Good night, brother. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much.
You're so
Cheers.
rad, dude, and I can't wait to have you back on, dude.
Take care. Bye.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy.
Later, dude.
Awesome. Miss that guy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was
And,
thinking we could still hang out for a little bit longer.
I
Yeah.
miss that guy's.
I
Like I
wanna
was
talk
talking
to you
about, like
guys.
his energy was so unique, dude. Like getting up there and just like
Dude,
going up
you
there and
made
be
me
like,
think about it.
yeah, just his.
He
style
would
was
be
so
somebody
fucking
that
cool.
would be very interesting to have on tour because if you ever get bored, you just go talk to him about aliens, dude, or some shit like that. And I'm just
Oh
like,
man, he's
the
such a
end,
wealth
dude.
of knowledge. And the cool thing about him, I mean, in the beginning, I was a younger boy. I was 25, 24, 20, something like that. And
Mhm.
we're all trying to be like metal, like we're going on tour with Vader, you know, we're like all tough. And then you have Matt and you have Pat, and they're just like fucking completely chill, different kind of people that you would not expect on a death metal tour. And they were just
Yeah.
completely themselves, and fucking those two together were awesome. Matt, we gotta get Matt on. Matt is one of the funnier humans I've ever toured with. Just as far as like taking taking like side jabs at you, and like I don't know, we just always like sneak off and go smoke joints and stuff. He was like one of the bros, but you know, people in Canada just have to end up going back to Canada, and you just lose touch. you know?
Yeah.
It
It
sucks.
sucks.
But good
I
good
was
dude,
it
man.
was funny that Graham Hancock came up because in my head I was like, we have our own personal Graham Hancock, dude.
Yeah.
we could have
just any
multiple
question we
episodes
have, just
where
make a video
he
for us.
Was a
just
good
have
old
Patrick come back on like once every couple months just to drop knowledge and
Just
fucking
have like
leave
our
us
interstellar
stoned and
interstellar
drunk.
correspondent.
Whoa, dude. In the beginning, I totally felt like I was just being
I
like,
was digging the history
"Whoa,
stuff.
dude, trip."
Like the alien
Yeah.
stuff was getting a little tinny. Cool. But it was good.
Well,
But it
dude,
was,
He had a lot of good. He had a lot of
but-
good points, though.
I mean,
that's what
anything alien related is like that.
But that stuff's
Yeah, yeah.
fun though, dude. That's the
The
thing. It's
history
like,
shit was so. I love that stuff because it's like
I don't
want-
think he was even saying. I mean, a little bit alien, but he was just saying like lost civilizations and stuff that are.
Yeah.
You know, that's
At the
what
time he
aliens in
wanted to go to
general,
bed.
They're a little tinny.
when he was talking,
Yeah,
wanting to go to bed, I was in my head like, "Fuck, I can't talk about the Anunnaki with him tonight, dude. God damn it."
Yeah.
You know, the fact that humans, that's the one thing I don't get is that I mean, there's got to be other life. There's a fucking trillion light years of planets around us. Like if there's not
Oh
one,
yeah,
other
no,
one,
for
you know,
sure.
it's like
That's
like there's got to, but like when people like name them and stuff, I'm like, all right, well, like that's like
Dude.
you know that much. It's like when people just like
Yeah, yeah,
know
yeah.
like way too much. It's like,
There's
how do you know their
39
names?
different
Like,
species that have like visited the Earth.
So let's
Some are
give a
tall,
I know.
some
let's
are
give a
short.
quick shout out to Ian at Sick Drummer Magazine, dude. He's going to be doing a live interview Saturday with Shannon Lucas,
Oh,
Kevin
fuck yeah.
Talley, John
Nice.
Merriman, and Alex.
Damn.
Alan Cassidy. I almost got through all of them, dude.
when
Alan,
is it? How do we get to it? How do we get to it? I want to check that out.
yeah, dude, give us a link, Ian,
sure,
so
that'd be sick.
we'll drop it on
I know.
the.
I'm not even a drummer, and I'm
Damn,
down.
that sounds amazing. Yeah, fuck, I'm way down.
Yeah, dude, that's what's sick
I'm
about
like nervous to even come on that. Damn, dude.
that's what's sick about Sick Drummer Magazine, dude. I wish I was a drummer so I could go on that shit, dude. It's been around
I
for
know.
fucking over a decade, dude.
Oh, we know you're a drummer, Anthony. You're also a guitarist.
Oh yeah, dude. I
Real-
was
no, okay. I'll teach you one drum beat, and you can say, "I can play Wish You Were Here on drums."
dude,
So,
I drummed in a band. You
Totally
guys
can.
forgot about that, dude. I used
Well,
to be able to
you-
blast beat and everything.
blast beat a whatever drum machine module.
No, dude, on a real kit. I played in a band called Haya. It was an acronym
I think
for
I
herpes in
remember
your ass.
Anthony getting behind the kid
You
at
played on
practice
the
and
kit?
actually could play beats and stuff, and I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
you're not like. I thought they were just fucking
I
around. You
could,
actually
I could
had like some
fucking
stuff down.
Well, he
double
was kind
bass.
of mechanical.
No, I had the rhythm, dude. I had the Motown in me, dude. The
I get it,
Motown
dude.
was in me, dude.
15/16 right over his head.
I could play in 15/16, dude, with 15/16 in my hand, dude.
He's like, I need some heavier sticks. They need to be like a I know, crescent wrench. I don't know.
That would be hilarious.
Side news:
dude.
I ordered my first 8-string.
Nice.
So that's gonna be. I don't even know what to expect from that.
Can't wait till you
freaking-
return it. But yeah, so
He didn't drop the link. Did we drop the link? He didn't drop the link yet. He's saying, oh, it's on Twitch or YouTube.
I already it was already on the
Sick Drummer
screen.
Magazine. Oh, okay. All right, sorry.
But I
see
mean, for
it.
people that are listening at Twitch or YouTube, Star Magazine, it's gonna be 9 p.m. Eastern, so 6 p.m. Pacific. Interviews, yeah, gonna be sick.
Cool.
All the
Okay.
fucking
Sick
that's a
Drummer
fucking
Magazine.
lineup right there. You got
6 on
Merriman in the
Saturday.
middle of all that. I'm fucking
Dude, Kevin
love- I
Talley,
love
bro.
that.
Come, I'd love to talk to every single. Oh, we talked to Alan, and we'd love to talk to Alan again, dude. He's got one of the most famous frozen faces.
We just all come
100
on, and we just all come on, all four of us, and Ian's like, "Wait, oh, that's not what I meant. Like, that's too many."
we all like try to log in.
We're like, "Hey,
Oh,
hey,
dude, I just want to check out that. Just like, how are you streaming it, dude? How do you log in? What's the link?
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
We're turning it into a Cali Death anniversary episode where there's
I know,
10
right?
guys on the screen.
Vomit, like, yeah, like, oh, wait, hold on. You
Which
ruined me.
Oh,
we're
my
coming up
God.
on that. We're coming up on that soon. Dude, Joseph, talk about being a fucking globetrotter and trotting those motherfucking drums out, dude. You side note, Casey already made this statement. You're like a machine right now, dude, and we just want to.
Yeah,
The
Joseph's
professor's doing things right now, dude.
I'm
The
scared of him.
professor's doing things.
Slam is alive and well in the hills of Switzerland.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Crazy, nice.
The,
Yeah, was it mostly slam?
the hills are alive with the sound of guttural slamming, brutal death
Dude,
metal. Yeah.
slam? That was the answer the whole time. Here us trying to do technical shit. Stupid.
I mean, you get it when you go see it live. It's
Bullshit.
like it makes you just like go like
Slam's
you're
way
like,
better.
like it's way easier
yeah.
to like groove to. You know, it's like
Disgorge isn't slam though. Like I don't
No.
know.
No.
Sorry,
No,
vomit isn't slam.
No, as someone said, we blue ball tease the slams or something. Like Disgorge never fully breaks down.
What?
It like
Never
teases you.
fully breaks down.
Yeah.
That I don't agree
Oh,
with.
shit.
But okay.
The Odious definitely doesn't fully break down, actually, if you think about it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like there are a lot of like
Freaking-
parts in Disgorge that if you listen by itself, it's like, yeah, that's a breakdown or that's a slam or whatever. But like in context with like a lineup of all slam bands that like only do that, then Disgorge, it definitely feels like it never really stays anywhere. It just moves on so fast. So
Wow.
but yeah, I mean, you know, every fest that Disgorge plays or TVV plays it's kind of just like a TVV party or Disgorge party or whatever, and like everyone's just like hyped on the energy of the return, and everyone's like, oh, I last saw you guys in like 2001 or 2004 or 2014, or you know, we get all the old heads, and then we get the young kids who are like, oh, I'm so excited to see you guys. It was really cool. The coolest parts of Switzerland were the natural beauty. It was just absolutely amazing. The hospitality. Sonia Naff, who puts on Rock the Hell every year for I don't know how many years now, but she has all the posters in her house for like 10 or 15 years. She's just, you know, independent promoter, booking, doing it all with a team. Just 15-minute walk from her house. She lives in a house. We walked to the venue and we walked back whenever we wanted to like go take a nap or whatever. It's super convenient. Really, really great spot. Had like drivers for us for the airport. rides and all that. People were buying us food. People were taking care of us. There was weed, which I didn't
I
expect.
was just about to say, how's the weed, dude?
The weed was like pretty good by travel standards. It's, you know,
Yeah.
we're super saturated out here, but it was kind of trippy, like smoking weed and not getting like immediately stoned out of your mind. Like every time you
Yeah.
smoke here, you know, it's just like you're high, and there you're like, okay, like this is how it used to be or whatever. But it was a treat because last Europe trip I was there 3 weeks and the whole time I was dry. So this time I didn't even get to the fucking house before we had to stop the gas station and light up or whatever.
Nice.
That was
How
chill.
How was the travel there and back?
It was pretty easy, easier than I expected. It was a whirlwind, so we were gone for 4 days. Crazy that we left on Wednesday and got back Sunday night. Did like
Trip.
2 transatlantic travels and all that.
Whoa.
But I you know, Diego's the homie, obviously, shout out. But I kind of bonded a lot with Angel this tour because Angel just he likes to chill and relax, and he doesn't drink too much. He had like a Jaeger shot. He like broke his sobriety of a year with like a single Jaeger shot both nights. So he, you know, unwinded a little bit, but
Yeah.
he's really just a straight kind of guy, and we both like to just relax and take naps and try to be as rested as possible. So we're like looking at each other at the fest like, do you want to go take a nap? Yeah, let's go. So
Dude, I
he's-
love to
That
talk
was
to
my,
him.
that was my
dude.
Dan.
Yeah, Angel's awesome.
Yeah, that was my Dan Eggers, dude.
yeah,
That was my Dan Eggers on tour. Like me
Well,
and Dan
Except you guys drink. It's different stuff.
secluded into the van.
No
Yeah.
judgment, just saying.
We got a frozen face from Joel. That's pretty awesome.
Frozen Joel.
We would hide. Yeah, I
Oh.
know. It looks all sick to me. That's what sucks. I just went to YouTube and checked it out. It's like I'm just all like this blur mess. Like, but no, me and Dan was kind of like we were. I mean, also Derek Ridquist, the Demon Carcass. Like we would kind of, you know, we're in relationships a lot, so we were like all the guys would be like, oh, chicks. Well, and we were like, we're gonna stay behind and just like make fun of people. And you know, I also grew up with them since kindergarten, so it kind of helps a little bit. But
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, it's just like finding those kind of like those people on tour that are just like on the same wavelength, you know? Like there's been so many like Flo on the European tour, like me and him were just like fucking on some weird fucking bro wavelength. Where like it was mostly to do with smoking cigarettes, but it was
I was
like
just about
"All right,
to
let's
say,
smoke."
was
It
it
was-
smoking?
was
Go
awesome.
smokers.
yeah, it was like me and him
All
was just constantly just like we'd have like he'd have the pack, I'd have the pack, we just go smoke, talk, bullshit. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just one of those random connections you make on tour where you don't think that it's also funny too. There's been bands where I'm like, I'm not gonna get along with those guys, and then you end up like Born of Osiris, which is we just nodded the whole time, like hello, 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 and then finally like they played Mayhem Fest and they just dragged me in their bus and we just fucking partied our tits off, and I barely hung out with them at all on tour. It was like barely. I said hello, nice set, hello, nice set, like that's all we said, and then they just got me fucked up and we just had a bro down, and I was like, oh fuck, we could have done this the whole time. Shit. So,
Yeah.
you know, like, but yeah, that's cool. So
Maybe-
what's Angel?
maybe
What
it
is-
was just
what's
like-
Angel's style though? What's Angel do for work? What's like his? He said he doesn't drink for a year. Basically, is he just? I don't
Oh
know,
yeah,
construction or-
he's doing I mean he has some gig work stuff. He is driving, delivering and stuff. He is doing Cephalotropsy as an independent band at this point, so he's like basically working on releasing the new album, and there'll be a ton of merch and all that to go along with that release, and there's a live CD release show in July at the Che Cafe, July 13th, I think. So I think that's, you know, Cephalotropsy is his main project, but he does a
Wait,
lot of guest spots.
where-
So
Where is that again?
the Che Cafe,
Are you serious?
yeah,
They're playing at the Che Cafe and UCST.
yeah, and they already had Slam Diego down there last
Have I not?
a week
Dude,
ago.
I need to
a week
go to
ago.
that. When is this show?
July 13th, dude. I'll get the flyer for you.
Dude, I
Dude,
haven't been to a show at
Cephalotropsy-
the Che in a while, dude.
Sounds
Usually-
like
that's the first time I
should
saw
be a-
Cattle with the Locust, like back in like late '90s, dude. That's the
Sounds
shit.
like June should be when Angel comes on. Then he can promote all this shit.
Yeah,
dude.
he did say he wanted to wait till the album comes out to do it. I hope he's down
Cool.
at this point.
Yeah, anytime. That was great.
I want to
I had him
also
over recently with after you guys practiced. That was
Yeah,
cool.
dude,
to
we
talk to
chilled
some-
hard, dude. That was sick.
We listened
No,
to
dude,
the new.
I hung out with him in Vegas. And he's
Yeah.
such a cool dude. He
Yeah.
was super polite
Damn,
and
that's
nice and cool to be around. And yeah, that's ever since Vegas, I've wanted to talk to him on the show. So
It's quite
It's-
nice
it's-
and sings in Slotrepsy. Slotrepsy? I've never even tried to say it. I've always
Say it
thought
again.
it. I've never tried to say it.
that was
Keep trying. Keep trying.
you're pulling a me
Slotrepsy.
so hard, dude.
We all, I don't even
Slotrepsy.
know how to say it.
I'm not even looking at the spelling. If I need to look at
Okay, like
how do
like
I even type it in if I can't even spell it?
Cephaloptropsy.
Cephalic.
Yeah.
So cephaloptropsy.
There you go.
Cephaloptropsy?
It
Okay.
starts similar to
Cephalop-
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
Cephaloptropsy, dude.
Cephaloptropsy.
I've
Right?
never said that word. I always hear you guys say it, and I'm just like, I'm not going to try that. I'm not going
Well,
for that word right now.
Ceph
I'm not
is
gonna try
like
to say that.
brain or like head,
Yeah, brain.
right?
It's like
Right.
cephalic. Yeah.
Well, it's
It's-
like cephalopod. Ceph
it's
is
just-
head.
It's just cutting open someone's head. I think that's
Oh,
what it
shit.
means.
Cephaloptropsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snuffleupagus.
It's not like
Yes.
trepanation, which is where they drill a hole in
That's
your head.
drilling a little hole. Yeah, that's like a little surgical one. I think cephaloptropsy is like the
Snuffleupagus.
more blunt one.
What if there was
But,
a metal band called Snuffleupagus?
Dude,
It's actually
there
a
will
cool
be.
fucking word, dude. It's
There will
pretty
be.
No, there
cool
will
word.
be. I like kind of
Yeah.
looking at it too. Like it's like,
I know they can
Is
make
that
a
how you
crazy
spell it?
logo with that, right?
is that how you spell it?
Snuffleupagus.
It is now.
Snuffleupagus.
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah.
Necrophagus. No.
Oh
Cutting
no!
open this
Shout out to
snuffle.
on this kind of shout out
Snuffleupagus.
well, I mean, looking at watching all of Zenith's fucking videos and watching
Yeah.
Beatty and stuff out there. He's hanging with the big dogs and in huge shows like kind of like Summer Slaughter-esque old school shows. And fuck, man, it looks. I'm
We
so
need a
stoked for
part
him. He's
2
playing that-
BD.
He's playing that fucking Abasi 7-string. I'm like, damn, dog, fucking balling now.
The
um,
the creamy, beady dreamer
He's
guitar.
playing a
yeah,
bossy guitar.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
It-
Crazy.
It's I don't think it's official, but he's basically gonna be endorsed. So
When are we gonna get
Nice.
Tosin on? Gosh
Get
darn
What
it.
the
Yeah,
fuck?
dude.
I mean,
I knew him when
I
he
don't
was
know.
just
I'll
a
have to.
kid. I'm just kidding.
Maybe we'll
But,
try to get Javier on or something. Yeah, anyways. But anyway, I know
Let
it
me-
sucks
let me-
because Tosin's just like a millionaire now, like a
Yeah,
baller
Tosin's
millionaire. It's like, and to know him like back, I mean, he dressed like he was a millionaire when I first met him, like on 2008 or
yeah,
9. He was like,
But he was
dressed in,
just a
like, the
strapping
nicest
young
clothes.
lad back then.
He was. It's really cool to see. I mean, I
He's
didn't
a nice
know. Obviously, he was the
He's
next
a nice
level. I was going to be like cover of Guitar World magazine like 9 times since
Nice,
then, and like, and
Big
Yeah.
it's the Steve. I met him at the show that we played at.
Yeah.
I forget.
right.
But
What were
Steve
you
Ive
about to-
showed up
what were
and
you
they
about
went.
to say,
He went to
Professor?
Steve
at the Che Cafe or what?
at the Shea Cafe. They just fucking hung out. Steve Ive's son's a metalhead.
What I was gonna say, Tosin deserves all the success and
Oh,
everything
fuck
for
yeah,
being an inspiration. But speaking of upstart bands coming out strong, Necrotic and Fibulation from California were one of the top 3 sets on this like 20 set fest. They just
Mm.
are 18, 19, and 17 years old, I believe. There's
Damn,
a kid
awesome.
who's not even 18 yet. And they were so sick. I mean, I'm like all about this new wave, like New Standard Elite signing all these bands. Like I was kind of like, all right, yeah, they sound pretty cool. And then you see it live and you're just like, I get it, dude. And they sounded so sick on this big ass system. And it was like such a cool way to experience this because they've played like, some festivals and like stuff around here, LA and whatever. And I haven't gotten to see them. And I've checked out videos. It's not, the full thing. And this was like the full thing. So they just went out there as young kids and crushed it. And I had a
What
good time.
part did you say? What part of California? I didn't hear if you did.
The main dudes are out of Simi Valley.
Where's
in
that? The
LA.
SoCal? Okay.
Yeah, it's like on the way towards Ventura. So
Yeah.
the north part of Southern California. But so they went over there with some dads because they're kids. And one of the dads, shout out Michael, he's like kind of their manager and everything. So it's so cool that he's like just like taking these kids with like the most fucked up, horrible gore, torture lyrics and concepts to like go have their little fun at the festival or whatever. But he's an old head. He was in a band called Intrinsic, which I haven't checked out, but I had to go on Metal Archives and do the dive. And so he was in San Luis Obispo in the 80s, 90s. He actually played with Jacoby and Eric's pre-Deeds bands, so THC and the other bands. Yeah, so he's like, oh yeah, I knew Eric, I knew Jacoby, and then they founded Deeds.
That's sick, dude. I mean, that now that you mentioned that history, it makes it a little more easier to be a dad that sees his kid want to pursue the same kind of dream he probably had at some point in his life too,
Yeah,
that's rad.
And yeah, I remember the response from my dad the first time he learned about the specific content of a certain carnivorous song called Defiled Amputees. And when he did, that look was something crazy, but he knew. I was like, dude, it's not real. And he knew
took a shot
that.
At this real quick though. I need you guys to, because I typed it in. I don't want to pretend like I was cheating, but you said necrotic infibulation, and I just tried to spell it. See if I spelled it correctly. Is that correct?
That's actually pretty
right.
close. It looks like.
That's correct.
What?
Gangster,
dude, you should be a fucking doctor, dude.
I'm terrible at spelling. No, I'm terrible at spelling, so I figured I would fucking give it a shot. When I just heard it, I've never even heard that term. I've heard the necrotic, but
well, the fibulator is like the clear.
That's
no
defib, also infib.
Defibrillator.
So
what's
infib means you're inducing a heart attack or inducing infibulation.
Actually, an infibulation is a female genital mutilation.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So they're basically like
just like
they're hacking at dead vaginas, dude. They're hacking at dead vaginas.
Exactly.
Oh
I mean,
God.
Fuck, man. This we need to get over it, guys. I mean,
hey.
But then again, at 19, that was the coolest shit, dude.
I support the homies. They're killing it. There's also I want to shout out their like sister band. It's the same lineup with a different vocalist, and that band is Virologist. And they also put out a single on New Standard Elite this year. That's just so sick, dude. I'm all about it. The new wave is here. It's fucking sick. So I'll get these guys on.
The owner of New Standard Elite, the old Inherit Disease drummer, still? Was that the guy?
The dude is Ryan. I don't know.
Oh, didn't he
bald guy? Bald guy, big big bald.
No, that's not his name. That's not his name.
Ryan
isn't his name.
Was he Guttural Elite or something? I forget.
No, he New Standard Elite. Pretty positive. Let's see who started it. Let's do it.
2010.
It was.
It's that dude, I think.
From Inherit, yeah.
Right?
The standard of sickness. The new standard of sickness, dude.
In any case, yeah, the name they gave me is Ryan, who they've been in touch with. I'm not sure if it's because I knew there was a handing off at some point.
Okay.
Oh fuck! I forgot that they were gonna have a NSE Fest. Man, that thing was so sick. It got canceled though, unfortunately. Hopefully that does
I've heard
happen.
So many people talk about New Standard Elite lately. I've seen that just pop. I remember back when it started.
And Osborne.
Okay.
Damian Osborne. Osborne. Daniel Osborne. Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about. Daniel Osborne. That's the old
2023.
Inherit.
2023. It took Ryan Baker took over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ryan has been signing a lot of talent, and I think there's so many new signings. It's kind of like, okay, either he's got his ear to the ground or something. But I mean, I think he's giving a lot of kids a chance right now. We'll see what he can do with it. But it's fucking incredible. And there's a bunch of other bands of this kind of caliber, Desiccation, Submerged. A lot of these bands share members or have members crossover in the past, whatever. So we'll do like some sort of, start getting these kids on the podcast.
Dude, they got a lot of they put out a lot of bands, dude.
Yeah, I gotta send you guys the links of the standout songs, but it's fucking sick, man. And it was so sick to see them like go to Switzerland and crush it. And another band that was really cool that I need to shout out was Coprocephalic Mutation from
Oh God, I'll try to spell that one.
From UK, and they had an amazing set. And one of their members is Sam Mansfield, who's the promoter bringing TVV out to Manchester this July. So basically, we got to hang out and party with the promoter for the next show already, which was great to like get to know him already. So
yeah,
he's got his shit together. Also, no.
Is that? You said it quickly. You said it quickly.
Okay, so copro like poop.
Oh, copro.
Coprocephalic mutation. So it's like poop head.
Yeah, you're a shithead.
Yeah, shithead.
You got literally mutated into a shithead.
Yeah, pretty sick.
Gross.
Fuck, man.
Oh God, I fucked that up. Okay.
And they don't. They're all their recorded stuff is like, I think with a drum machine and not like representative of the band as it exists now. They have a drummer. They're a sick live act. They're putting out a CD, so I would wait till that comes out to like really show them off. But they've delivered an amazing fucking set. And also Sam plays a beast, the same guitar as Diego, which came in handy because sadly Diego's guitar broke on the fucking way there, and he like opened up the case at the festival, and at the top of the headstock with the pegs and all that, just fucking severed, not severed, but like super bent and broke the wood. So he's gonna have to buy a new neck.
This is wrong, right? This is still wrong, right?
Just change SO and put CE. Like cephalic.
Oh Jesus.
Okay. Yeah, you fucker. Use your cephalic's
right in there again, and I can't even fucking nail it. Well, awesome. Fuck yeah. I have to piss really bad, and I think Casey had an internet connection or Irish goodbye, one of the two.
What is it? What is did the Riff Wizard have a hard case?
I'll just go piss.
No.
We don't have to get into
have a hard case.
Potential liability here.
No.
All right. But yeah, you're asking the right questions, and we'll everyone should have a hard case. This is just good advice. I'll say that. So
I think if you're moving a guitar to Switzerland, I think that'd be a good idea. But hey, it doesn't. This is underground death metal, guys. Okay, this is as he still went to Switzerland and fucking played his music.
Yeah, I mean, there was a guy there who had the same guitar and the same tuning. I mean, that's actually not that coincidental for a festival where you're headlining. There's going to be some guy who idolizes you, who wants to play the same guitar as you and has it. But now that guitar is now blessed by the beast. It is a beast. So it's a beast blessed by the wizard, I guess.
And it was
I really wanted to think that worked. Yeah, it's a beast blessed by the wizard.
Dude, it works, dude. And he repped our shit, wearing our shirt on stage. That's super sick, dude. Always love the promotion from the homies,
There was a lot of love for Severed Savior out there. A lot of people were talking about how stoked they are on the comeback, the live return. They want to come out to Texas. Some people I think are going out. There is one band called Maximize Bestiality. Fucking awesome name. Or Maximum or something. Who are from Germany and who are playing the
Maximum Bestiality. Dude, that's like,
I think it's Maximize, to be honest.
Either way, dude.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's kind of trip because Severed makes posts probably. I think it's Troy who does it, but we make posts periodically, and all the posts recently I check out what people are saying and what people are doing, and everybody's coming from everywhere, dude. It's crazy. I've seen somebody say they're flying from Greece. I just recently saw somebody that they're flying from Japan.
Oh,
And
probably
then
Mookie. Shout out. I met her. If it's the same person,
it's wild. I don't know. I just know that it's actually scary and kind of a weird feeling that the announcement of Severed Savior is making these people travel from different parts of the world.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe it's not just obviously the fest is sick as shit, but I'm just saying there are enough comments that are saying this made me come. This made me decide to come from this country.
Yeah.
It's wild to think that people are coming from a different country, and it also makes me feel like I need to get my shit going, dude, because I definitely need to be a 40-year-old man trying to be a 30-year-old man.
Hey,
Yeah, 40's like 30.
don't worry, brother. You're goated still, dude.
No, I know. I
Unless you
definitely
fuck up, dude. If you fuck up, dude, everyone's gonna make fun of you.
I'm
It's
definitely
be
gonna
so
fuck
funny.
up, dude. I'm gonna see so much footage of this
I'm just
probably where no, it always happens. There's
Just
gonna
your
be
voice
enough
like
footage
right
of
as the
this.
first song, the first like lyric going, they're just gonna like fucking crack your voice.
If I crack once, I'm like, this shit's done, dude. I fucked up,
That's
dude. I'm a piece
that
of
would be
shit.
so shitty. Like people like fly from Japan and shit. You're just like, and then you get back into it, and then if you start there, like no one's ever gonna forget. So then you just fucked the whole way. Like there's not gonna be anyone that forgets that.
I know, dude. So I have to do
You're gonna be
everything in my
like-
power to not make that happen, dude.
I don't
But
know.
the
I,
crack
opposite of
happened
a
like
standard
mid.
elite.
I
Yeah.
really don't relate to Joel's like insecurity as in performance. Like I have made plenty of mistakes. It happens, but it is not like
How many
an
times, like when
anxiety
you're
for
doing
me.
vocals, like when you're in front of a crowd?
That's true that I'm hiding in the back.
No,
so.
but
You're
no,
hiding
I
in the
will.
bro-
To Joseph's point, I've on performances that I feel
Yeah.
hypercritical of myself. I've heard people personally on the show say that they loved that. That was like one of the best sets they've ever seen, and I'm like, okay, there's some validation that my shit is always gonna be fucked up when I look at my shit. I'm always
yeah.
gonna have this weird, stupid
100%.
filter that I'm looking through that's always gonna make me look like a fucking idiot before I even open up my mouth. And yeah, just got to work with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
it
mean, if
is
someone-
insecure. I mean,
Forever.
because I put the sorry, I'm lagging behind you on my internet, Joseph. I don't mean to cut you off, but I just for funsies, I always kind of look at when someone like kind of makes a foul. I'm just kind of like, in the back of my head,
Yeah,
kind of like a
no.
Shane
And I do
Gillis
that
like
too. I do that
way
too.
of thinking, just like, oh shit, and then because I do that in my brain, then all of a sudden now I'm held to the same standard, and if I were
You
to
and I could
do
do
something
that
like that,
to
it's
each
gonna be
other.
like,
You and I,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
yeah.
was like standing in the crowd front row watching you the whole time and I knew your shit and I knew you fucked up, me and you could look at each other and I'd be like,
oh, there was some times.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of people that knew like odious or decrepit songs, and I was standing in front of me like, what the or like, what was that, dude? I'm like, and Dan Kenny, when he's in Animosity, I'd be like, oh, fucking sucks.
Yeah, I know. But that was our fun little like, that's the
That's
kind
our
of shit that keeps
comedian
you on your-
heckling green room kind of thing. It's like,
Yeah.
because we know the songs inside and out. We know every change, we know everything. So it's like, if they fuck up a little part, it's like, dude, what the heck you doing? And I remember watching, like, when I watched with James King James was watching Longstreth. I was standing next to James King, and he was doing like the cross arm thing, and it was like his first time seeing him play with Origin again, and he was like going like, up. You fucked it up. He was like all loud, and I'm just like, he's all nah, fuck that up, dude. Fuck that. And I was like, Jesus. And I'm sitting there just like this like young kid, just going like, dude, you guys are both monsters, and I'm just sitting next to one monster rip another monster as a joke, and I'm
we're
like,
giggling
I'm not part of this
about
joke,
it.
dude. I'm not part of this joke.
I get to
mean,
laugh at
he's-
this joke.
Yeah, it's like I'm brought in on it, but yeah, it's just for funsies. But yeah, I mean, Joseph, you've fuck. I mean, you were just talking about like you globetrotting and stuff, and my brain, I've been so stuck in work, I've just forgot I saw like stories of you recently out of the country playing and to finally
Yeah, dude.
and you're just sitting back at home like, yeah, dude, another podcast. What's going on, guys? And I'm just like, wasn't your story like you were like in fucking on the other side of the
Switzerland.
earth just playing death metal?
Yeah,
Like,
it was
how recent was that?
It was, dude. Okay, so we played in Swiss time at like around midnight, and then we had to leave for the airport at 6 a.m. And so like we didn't sleep, we just went straight to airport. So we never really adjusted to time changing. Like it was like kind of we were always a little like staying up all night and then sleeping in the day kind of. But yeah, it was like it was like what's 72 hour, 100 some hours, 96 hours, whatever. It was not like that 100 hours in Europe. It was real fucking short in the long,
Jesus.
Fucking wild, dude.
yeah. But dude, the hospitality, the food, I mean, catering, you can just go to this spot and they just
awesome.
cafeteria style, you grab a plate, grab as much of whatever you want.
There's something I miss about that chaos, dude. Just like a certain amount of time where you don't know when you're gonna sleep, you don't know when you're gonna eat. I kind of fucking miss it, dude. Like that you just kind of, even just explaining it kind of romanticizes it for me. If I had like a 120-hour window of getting to Europe and doing a thing and experiencing whatever I could and getting back, it sounds fucking kind of rad.
It's fun, man.
It's fun. There's pluses and minuses, probably, obviously, that Joseph's dealing with. But as far as like mental stuff, but you'll look back on it, all the minuses will be completely minused out. They'll be gone, and you'll just look back on it like I'm getting to that point in life where I had a thought the other day. I was like, being kind of bummed down on tour, but also being like, I can't believe that was sick. I can't believe I got to do that. I was like taking a dump or something. And I was like, but I'll never be able to experience that again. That's probably something that I'm not craving to go do that again. But at the I look up to that. I was like, that was fucking insane. Like that's like maybe top tier, like fun, like childhood fun of my life was doing that. But there also was negatives that you kind of weed out when you think back at it. But it's
for sure.
But it's so
those aren't the actual valuable things to take from it. Our brain kind of has a built-in thing to keep as much of the good shit. Yeah, keep as much of the good shit as you possibly can for when you finally get to that. I was about to.
That's why your friend keeps going like, that's why your friend goes like, dude, I'm gonna get back together with her because it was good. Oh, well, the time she like a vase over your head, you're like, no, dude, it was good, dude. It was so much fun.
It'll be different. I can fix it. I can fix it. Yeah.
Well, that's rad, dude.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thanks goes to the fans who make it possible for a band like TVV to still be able to afford this trip. I mean, Diego's a working guy, and if he's leaving his 6-year-old daughter and family to go do something, it's got to be because it's something important and special. And this was indeed that. And
that's awesome.
That's right, dude.
And I just fucking thank you to all the fans I met out there. There were some podcast fans. So shout out Virgil from Devour the Fetus, another cool band name. He was one of the first guys who just saw me and was like, "You are the professor, right?" And he's like, "I'm a big fan of the podcast." And there were a couple other Cali Death fans out there. Unfortunately, I only had a large T-shirt with me, and I wanted to give it to somebody, and everyone was either too tall or too small, so I didn't give out the shirt.
It's all European
good. Size is different.
As shit, dude. It makes me so happy that the professor was born on this show, and now it's an international nickname, dude.
I'm like stoked like that. Like I want to give like any recognition that I ever get and just like give it to the professor on tour. Just like you take it, and I want you to like because for me it's like, I mean it's fun, but like I also don't. I mean I love it. I love running into people that like go, oh, Cali Death. I've had it a few times in the last few months, but like as far as like you're the one actually hitting the road and hitting the streets. I'm like, that makes me so happy that you're kind of like our spokesperson when you go out and you're actually playing in one of the most you're like playing the most brutal and like top 2 most brutal bands that's ever existed, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm also the professor on
He's our physical he's a physical international representation of the podcast as a whole. The professor, dude.
And we could talk about. Let's actually. I'm gonna do the. We'll close it out with this because I want to give the shout out for the professor right now. Professor puts together all the flyers. He does like a lot of the shit in the background, and he's like constantly doing the shit while he's like, oh dude, I'm like flying to like Zimbabwe right now. And, like we're like, dude, we need that flyer. We need that flyer, and he'll like get it to us somehow, and he puts it together, and he'll change the time on it last second. He'll change the picture on it because someone wants a different picture on it. And shout out to you, man. That's because I just get to me and Anthony just get to show up and just be like, alcohol's fun,
Yeah.
whatever. I like death metal, and like you're like actually like putting you and Casey both putting in that work.
Yeah, I was just about to say we
like,
also
the
got to
background
give
work.
the
No, and
Irish
Casey's like a
goodbye, man.
coordinator, and like putting a lot of the stuff together. And Casey's done a lot of flyers too, and Casey's put a lot of this shit together too. But it's kind of like I just want people to know that Professor, we're always relying on that flyer every week, and the little breakdown on Instagram and all that stuff, which I've sit there for like 45 minutes to like 3 hours, like going like, what's a good way to put this? And like you just go bam out, boom, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I
I
know.
appreciate
I
it.
do. I just watch that happen every week. It's funny, and then I fuck it up this week by just being like, "Oh, 8 p.m., guys."
No, yeah.
We don't even have to do anything. We're like, we fuck up the time. We're just like, whatever, dude. It's fucking.
I fucked up so many things for the pod, and I'm always late on everything. It is
Hey,
not the
that's
most important thing in my life, but we still manage to get it done every week. So
yeah.
It's
No,
funny. It's
that's the
fun
whole
that we
thing.
like kind of make it kind of like semi-important though. It's like we make it
Yeah.
like, all right, let's get this out. Let's do this thing. Let's get the
it
flyer.
fucking
It's
happens.
like
Yeah.
there's all this background stuff and all these like getting guests and stuff like that. Like I'll go on roll of getting guests. Casey will just message random people and get random people that I was like, oh fuck, you got that guy? Oh shit, okay. And Anthony will just be like, yeah, dude, I got this like guy that forever that you've hit up that won't respond to you, but I got him. and like no, not quite like that, but it'll just be like I'll hit him up like 2 years ago, then Anthony just sends him one message and he's on. I'm like, motherfucker. Like it's like
Well, it's not
Anthony's
that
classic at that.
that charm isn't working right now, guys. We're actually kind of to be breaking the fourth wall. We need to get some guests. So if you are still listening to this right now, you want to hear from somebody, give us a shout, and maybe we might get them on.
Referral.
Yeah.
Hey girl.
And I have some guests that I kind of wait till you guys are on a dry spell of guests, and then I throw all my guests in. So I
have a
few.
bunch of guests too. I haven't even.
All right, dog. Well, our calendar's running a little dry here.
I just
Yeah,
moved. I just like
hella
I have a
moves.
bunch of shit going on. But yeah, I'm down to. I just need to like just focus and just like blow up my friend, like some friends I know, and just like, come on, dude. Like I want a cephalic episode. Like I want that really
yeah,
bad,
but
and
that's
I'm getting some traction on it. But then like they go like, well, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, cool, maybe, and I just forget about it for like a year, and then
well,
I'm
that's
like, what
the thing.
about
It's
now?
like there's a certain person that you got to keep him on the line long enough. Like Luke, I had to keep him on the line for so
Gorguts. Oh,
long,
yeah.
but it
Paul
finally worked
Masvidal.
out.
Well, Paul
You know,
Masvidal wasn't.
Paul
Just
was kind of quick with me.
yeah.
I don't know if it was one of those things where Casey might have hit him up first, but I don't know, dude. But either way,
Certain people. Yeah.
doesn't matter. We'll still that's the funny thing. We're talking about something that we've still had in our weekly schedule for the last almost 4 years, guys. We're coming up on 200 episodes in 4 years in about less than 20 weeks, dude. That's a wild thing to say, dude. Something
It's hard to
so
like they're looking up shit that they're mixing up like like prefixes and suffixes of words and like putting them together in like a violent way, and I'm like, I don't know if I've ever heard that word. I have to figure out like the origins of like it's like a spelling bee. I'm like, origin. Well, it's like
coprocephalic.
Yep.
You fucking shithead.
There you go.
All right.
All right, guys. It's dinner time for
dinner time.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, actually, yeah, it's
All right.
early. All right, dudes and chicks and everybody else who exists and listens to this show. I love you, and I want you to have a great weekend. Glad we got to have this little wrap up convo with the boys. But yeah, we'll be here next week, like always. Rock on. Oh yeah, Battleforge Coffee. Cali.com, Cali Death Podcast.bigcartel.com, Psionic, Last Lucy, Generator Rehearsal Studios.com, twitch.tv/Cali Death Podcast, Joel.com, and yeah, rock on. Peace.
Joel.
God damn it.